Welcome back to the channel. Today we dive into a darker twist on the Twilight universe, one where Bella faces her pregnancy completely alone. No Cullens, no safety, just fear, survival, and a desperate choice. With nowhere left to go, she turns to the last place anyone would expect, the Volturi. But what happens when the kings of the vampire world are the only ones willing to protect her and her unborn child? Let's begin. Bella's paw. I was walking down the streets of Italy with Jacob when I saw them, three cloaked figures. I walked up to them and I saw their pale perfect features and I knew that they were vampires. I walked up to them and said, "Hello, my name is Bella and this is Jacob. Are you guys part of the Volturi guard?" They looked at each other once and then motioned for us to follow them into a dark alley. When they put down their hoods and I was able to see their red eyes. They reminded me of James, Victoria and Laurent. The only difference was that I wasn't scared this time. "How do you two know about us? You're humans?" the short blonde-haired girl said. "Well, that is a long story. We are seeking the Volturi's help and we were wondering if you all could help us locate them." I replied. "Why do you need the Volturi?" the girl asked again. "It's a kind of personal reason, but can you take us to them? It's an emergency." "Well, you are in luck because we are members of the Volturi guard. My name is Jane and that is Felix and Dimitri now following me," Jane said. They took us into this big waiting room where there was a lovely secretary and other clocked people guarding these huge bolt-like double doors. Then Jane came out. "The masters are ready to see you. Follow me," she said. I did as she said and we entered a huge room with three men sitting in thrones. "Well, hello, my name is Arrow and these are my brothers Keys and Marcus. Now why have you come here today?" he said. "My name is Isabella Swan but I prefer to be called Bella and this is my best friend Jacob Black." "Can I ask you a question before I tell you why I came here today?" I said. "Of course you may, ask away," he said. "Well, do you remember Carlisle Cullen and do you know his family?" I asked and he seemed shocked at what I had asked but still answered. "I do remember my good friend Carlisle and I sadly haven't met his family but I have heard of them and their amazing powers. Why do you ask?" he said. "As you can see I am pregnant and but what you don't know is that I am pregnant with Edward's child, as in Edward Cullen." They didn't really get where I was going until I said Edward Cullen and then they all gasped. "Well, I hope you know that this is not what we call a normal situation. In fact, this has never been heard of and I would like to know what exactly you came here for," he said to me. "I came here seeking your help, because you see my baby is not all human." "What do you mean?" Arrow said. "Well, I have to drink blood. I have been since I found out I was pregnant. My body can't keep down any human food anymore. I have been pregnant for about 5 weeks and I shouldn't even be showing yet but I am, and judging by the size I can go into labor any minute. We have read lots of legends and they all say that the mother never survives and I don't want to die. I want to live and see my baby grow up. I don't want to leave him alone in this world. So that is why I came here, because you have the power to turn me into a vampire after my baby is born. I know it's a lot to ask but can you please help me?" I explained to Arrow, Keys and Marcus. "If you don't mind me asking, why can't Carlisle just help you? He is a doctor." "Yes, he is and it would have been great for him to have delivered my child and his grandchild but he left. They all left. Edward left me in the woods outside my house after he told me that he didn't love me and that I wasn't good for him. I didn't even get the chance to tell him that he was going to be a father. I didn't get to say goodbye to Alice or Esme or any of them. They just left. It seems they didn't care enough to say goodbye," I said, beginning to cry while Jacob tried to calm me down. "I'm so sorry, my dear. I didn't mean to make you cry. Now, before you said you needed to drink blood, how do you get it?" "Well, Jacob here is a werewolf and he hunts animals for me and gives me their blood. I have to have at least 3 gallons a day or I start to feel bad. I can't eat human food anymore. The blood keeps me full. Like for this trip we had to fill our suitcases with blood. I'm really craving some right now, Jacob." When I started to talk about the blood I started to want some really badly, so when I said Jacob he knew what I was asking for and he reached into his backpack and gave me my water thermos full of blood. It tasted so good it made me moan in pleasure. I loved my blood. "Thanks, Jake," I said while looking back at the Volturi. They were all staring at me like I had just grown another head. I don't even know why they drink blood too. "What? Nothing, my dear. We understand that you have a craving for blood because you are carrying a vampire's child, but what we don't understand is why and how your best friend is a werewolf. You know they are our mortal enemy, right?" Arrow said to me, "Yes, I do know that you are mortal enemies, and as to how I'm best friends with Jake, the answer simple: we have been friends since we were born, and him turning into a wolf wasn't going to change anything. It's not like he can help who his parents are." I said, "What do you mean by he can't help who his parents are? What does that have to do with anything?" Arrow asked. "In my tribe there are men who carry the wolf gene, and my father and his father before him and so on carry it. Although the gene wasn't triggered for my father, he did pass it on to me, and I will eventually pass it down to my children. We can't help it." Jacob said, "Wow, I never thought I would actually get to meet one of you guys. I have met and killed many children of the moon because they are uncontrolled dangerous creatures, but never a shape-shifting wolf. I have read about you but never met one before." He said, "What do you mean shape-shifting wolf and children of the moon? Aren't they the same thing?" I asked. "The children of the moon are the original werewolves. They only turn on a full moon and all that, but shape-shifting wolf like your friend here are the complete opposite because they can control when they turn and aren't dangerous to humans because they can't infect them by biting them like a real wolf." He's explained, and all I said was, "Ooh. Now are you guys going to help me? I really don't want to die. I want to see my child grow up, and I can't do that without your help," I said to them, and Arrow walked forward. "May I see your hand, please? You see, I have a gift of being able to see all your thoughts with one touch," he said. "Of course," I replied and placed my hand in his. "Well, that's interesting. I wonder," Arrow said. "What is something wrong?" I said. "I seem that I can't read your thoughts. Was Edward able to hear you?" Arrow said, "No, he wasn't. I don't know why." I replied, "It seems you have a gift and will be useful to us in the future. We will help you, my dear, and I would like to invite you to join the Volturi Guard once you have been turned." Arrow said, "I would love to join, but I do have one condition." I said, "And what would it be?" Arrow asked. "I don't want to kill humans when I'm turned, and I want my child and I'd only drink animal blood. If I can do that, then I will join. If not, then I am sorry, but I would have to say no thank you." I said, "I don't think that would be a problem. Your diet is absolutely your choice." He said, "That's great, so then I would love to join. Oh, and can Jacob come and visit, or can I visit him? He is my best friend and he is immortal. I don't want to lose touch with him." That would also be fine, and if Jacob would like, he could join the guard as well. Arrow said, and I got so happy I hugged him, then looked at Jacob with hopeful eyes. "Wow, Arrow, it would be an honor to be a member of your guard," Jacob said, looking at Arrow and then at me. I immediately hugged him. "Well, then it is settled. You will both join the guard. Jane, would you show them to their rooms and please inform the rest of the guard we have 2 new members?" Arrow said. As he said that, I knew that everything was going to be okay. I was going to a vampire and my baby was going to be safe, and Jacob was going to be with us through it all. This was the start of my new life. Bella. Pav. It's been a week since me and Jacob joined the Volturi. I love it here. It's so beautiful and peaceful. I do miss Charlie and my friends, but I have Jacob and my new family. This is what's best for me and my baby, so this what I have to do, and it's worth it. Everyone here is so nice to me, especially Jane, Alec, Felix and Dimitri. Heidi is also nice, but I don't talk to her much. Jacob is really starting to get along with Felix and Dimitri. They are always fighting or training, as they like to put it. Jane is the one that really surprised me because everyone talks about her like she's a bitch, but she really isn't. She's such a sweet, loving girl. She reminds me a lot of Alice. We have become great friends, and I can honestly say that I am closer to her than anyone else. I have actually convinced her into changing her diet from human blood to animal blood, and surprising enough, she was all but willing to, and so was her brother Alec. The first time they drank, it was with me 3 days after I arrived. It was from one of my thermos bottles that Jake and I brought from home. It was so funny seeing them hesitate, but once they actually drank, they liked it. It wasn't the same as human blood, but it was satisfying, and they knew that they wanted to be there with me when my baby was born, and that was going to take a lot of self-control. I was going to ask Jane to turn me, and I hope she says yes. It would make me really happy to have them be the ones to do it. Arrow, Keys and Marcus were like father figures to me, and I liked that they were always there when I needed them. "Bella, where are you?" I heard Jane call. "I am here in the garden," I called back. Then she appeared next to me. "So how are you feeling today?" she asked with a suspicious smile. "My day is going fine. Why?" I answered. "Well, I was wondering if we could go shopping for baby stuff, you know, clothes and toys, etc., she said. "Jane, I don't like shopping and I don't have any money to go shopping anyway," I said. First of all, we won't be shopping for you but the baby, and second of all, when you joined the Volturi you automatically became part of our family, and everyone in this family has debit cards that at least has $100 million, and if we ever need more we just ask Arrow to deposit more and he does. When Jane said that I had $100 million to my name I freaked out. I mean, who needed that much money? You're kidding, right? I asked, still not believing her. No, I am not. Now let's go shopping. I have never gone shopping for baby clothes. Fine, but I don't even know what it's going to be. I said. Well then we will just buy clothes for both sexes. Problem solved. She said, all excited and jumping where she was standing. Okay fine, let's go. I said. We left at 2 p.m. and we are barely on our way back and it's 6 p.m. I am so tired. You are crazy, Jane. I am so tired. We bought so many things and half of it is not even going to get used. I said to her. You had fun, right? She asked. Well yeah, but I still think that we wasted a lot of money. I replied. Whatever, everything we bought is so cute and was worth what we spent, and like I said, money is not a problem. Jane said, smiling. You know, you remind a lot of Alice. I said, and when I said her name I started to cry. Honey, please don't cry, you'll see her again, don't worry, Jane said while hugging me. I know, thanks for being here, Jane. Now can we please go get some blood? I am so thirsty. I said. Yes, let's go. Now what are we having, elk, grizzly or mountain lion? She said. Well, I'm having some mountain lion, it's my favorite and it was Edward's favorite too. What do you want? I said, a little sad after saying Edward. I think grizzly, but mountain lion sounds good too, maybe both, she replied. After we drank our blood we went back to my room to put all the baby clothes away, and that's when Arrow walked in. Well, I see you are getting prepared for the new baby, he said, coming to sit next to Jane on the bed. Yes, we have, Arrow, we got so many cute thing for the baby. Jane told Arrow. Yes we did, and thank you so much for the money you put under my name to buy all of this stuff. I said to Arrow. You are welcome, Bella, it was no problem at all. Now I would like to talk to you about your transformation. Arrow said. Oh okay. I said. Well, I would like to do a little experiment with you if you don't mind, he said. What kind of experiment? I asked. When we change someone it is usually the venom of one vampire that turns you, in the older and the more gifted a vampire is, the more gifted the new vampire will be. I would really like it if you would let myself, and if Jane is willing to turn you. What do you think? Arrow explained. Yes, I would love it if you guys turned me. I was actually going to ask Jane to turn me, but if you would both turn me it would be so much better. I love the idea. Would you please help Arrow turn me, Jane? I said, turning to Jane and giving her my best puppy dog eyes that always worked on my mom when I was little. Yes, of course I would love turn you. It will be my honor to turn you with Arrow, she said. Yay, thank you both of you, I said, hugging them both. Well, now that we have resolved that, I will let you go back to what you were doing before. I'll see you both later, bye. Arrow said. Thanks so much for agreeing to changing me. You are the closest friend I have here besides Jacob, and he's a werewolf. I said to Jane after Arrow left. It's no problem, I have never turned anyone, but I have great control and you have really become a good friend and I would never say no to that. Anyway, when do you think you'll give birth? I can't wait to meet her or him, Jane said. When she said this I felt a really hard kick and then I felt water between my legs. Jane, I think my water just broke. Ah, it hurts so bad. Help me please. I screamed to Jane and she started to panic more than me. Okay, what do I do? Who do I call? Are you okay? Does it hurt? Jane started to babble. Jane, shut up and help me. I said to her. Okay, let's go to the medical room, they have fixed up just for you. Then I will go get Arrow, she said. Okay, I said. Jane's paw. Oh my god, Bella is going into labor, what am I going to do? I started babbling and didn't snap out of it till Bella told me to shut up. So I took her to the medical room they had set up for when this happened and then went to go get Arrow. Arrow. Bella just went into labor. I took her to the room with all the medical equipment, but I don't know what to do now. I don't know how to deliver a baby, do you? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I started to babble again while pacing. Jane, calm down. Everything will be fine, and yes, I do know how to deliver a child. In my human life I was a doctor like Carlisle, but I gave it up when I turned. Now let's go with Bella. Arrow replied all calmly while I continued to pace back and forth. Okay, let's go. I said, but when we were about to walk out of the throne room the least expected person walked in. Arrow's paw. Alice, my dear, what are you doing here? Well, I think that question will have to wait because I'm in a bit of a hurry right now, but feel free to make yourself comfortable till I return. I said to Alice. This is just my luck, I finally get to meet Alice Cullen, the psychic one of the Cullen Coven, and I can't stay and talk. Arrow, I know where you are going, I know what you are about to do. In case you forgot, I'm psychic, she said to me. Oh well, then you know that I don't have much time, then I really have to go. I said to Alice. Arrow, if it's okay with you, I would really like to go with you and be with Bella, who is like my sister, plus she is having Edward's kids, so I think I deserve to be there. I am going to be their aunt, she said, getting a little mad at the end. You are welcome to come, Alice, and did you say kids as in more than one? I asked. Yes, I did, Arrow. Now let's go. Bella is going to need an emergency C-section or she will die. She won't be able to give birth to them naturally, she said as we were running at vampire speed to where Bella was. When we got there, that's when I knew she was right. Bella looked really weak, pale, and she kept throwing up blood. We need to do this fast. Alice's paw. When I saw Bella I was speechless. She was really pale and kept throwing up blood. She was hugely pregnant and I was happy, scared and worried all at the same time. We left her alone and pregnant. How could we ever forgive ourselves for doing this? I am going to kill Edward next time I see him. Alice. Bella asked, not believing that I was really here with her. Yes, Bella, it's me. I'm here to help you in anything you need. I am so sorry for leaving. I didn't want to, but we thought it was the best for you. I'm sorry. Will you please forgive me? I said to her. Yes, Alice, of course I forgive you. How could I not? You are like the sister I never had. I am so glad you are here. Now please help me, she said to me before screaming out in pain. I will, don't worry, I said to her. Arrow, you need to perform the C-section now or she won't make it. Once you have got the babies out, you and Jane will have to immediately bite her and get as much venom in her system as possible while I will take the babies into her bedroom. Oh, and I'm going to need Alex since he is the only other vegetarian vampire here to help me. Arrow and Jane both nodded, and when I said that I needed Alec, he was at my side in an instant. Are you ready, Bella? We don't have time to give you any morphine, but this will be fast, I promise. Arrow said to Bella. Yes, I'm ready, she replied, taking my hand. Bella, everything will be fine. You are going to have beautiful children, and I promise that Jane and I will take care of them till you wake up in 3 days. We all love you, don't forget that, I said to her, and she started to cry and nodded. I love you, Alice, and all of you. Please take care of them till I am able to myself, she said, and we all nodded. After that everything was very fast. Arrow would get the baby out, pass it to me, and I would wrap it in a blanket and then pass it to Alec, who would put it in a crib while Jane wrote up each of the birth certificates. Then after Arrow and Jane quickly got their venom into her system. 10 minutes later, Bella was still in the room with all the medical equipment, and Jane and I were in Bella's room with the babies. They are so beautiful, Jane said. Yes, all 3 of them are just perfect, I said, agreeing with her as we changed the triplets in Bella's room. It turns out Bella is going to need all the cloths we bought and more. Jane said, laughing. Yes, she will. I can't wait to go shopping for them. I have never shopped for a baby before, I said excitedly. Ooh, and before I forget, Arrow said that I need to get the nursery set up before Bella wakes up in 2 days. So will you help me with it? I have no idea how I'm going to get it done before Bella wakes up, Jane said with hopeful eyes. Of course I'll help you. I have already seen it and it will be beautiful. I wish Esme was here to help us, I said, getting sad at the sound of my mother's name. Yes, I hear that she is a wonderful interior designer. Why isn't she here? If you are here, doesn't that mean that they should all know, including the father of these beautiful babies? Jane asked me. Well, as soon as I had the vision I jumped on a plane. I was only with Jasper, and when he asked where I was going I told him I didn't have time to explain. I told him to go back to the family and tell them that everything was fine and that I would call to tell them when I would be back. Ooh, and even if the family knew Edward still wouldn't. He left us the week after he left Bella. He couldn't be without her. She was his mate, and leaving her made him depressed. All then one day out of nowhere he said he was leaving, and we have only heard from him once, and it was to tell us that he was in Brazil at Isle Esme. I replied, why didn't you tell your family you were coming here and about Bella and the babies? She asked. I didn't know if Bella would even forgive me, so I wasn't going to bring the whole family here at a time like this. Plus I don't know if Bella wants to tell them about the babies. Okay, enough with all this touchy-feely stuff, let's go shopping for all the things we are going to need, she said. Okay, let's go, but how are we going to do it with 3 babies and no strollers? I asked. That's easy, Alec. She called her brother and in an instant he was there. Wow. You called? Alec asked. Yes, I did. You are going to go shopping with us so that you can help us carry one of the babies, she said, and he whined. Do I have to? Why can't you go alone or have one of the girls go with you? He asked. Because the babies are half human and they don't have enough control to even be close to them. Jane explained. Fine, but if have to go, so does Jacob. He doesn't drink blood at all and I need another guy there to keep me company so that I don't die of boredom. Did he just say Jacob? Did you just say Jacob? As in Jacob Black? I asked them. Yes, Jacob Black. Both him and Bella joined the Volturi a week ago. You didn't know? I thought you were psychic. Alec replied. I just didn't know he was here. How did he join the guard? He's human, I said. No, he's a werewolf. Well, shapeshifter. He came with Bella when she came to ask for Arrow's help and Arrow saw a good opportunity to get a shapeshifter on our side, so he took it. Alec replied. Ooh, well, go find him and let's go shopping. I told him and he ran off. I wonder why I didn't see Jacob with Bella. I said more to myself than anyone else. Maybe it just slipped. Those things happen sometimes, she said, and that's when Jacob and Alec walked in. Hello, Jacob, I said. Alice, what are you doing here? Last time I saw you, you were leaving Forks, he said with no emotion in his voice or face. I had a vision of Bella and the babies and I immediately took a plane here. I replied. Did you say babies? Didn't she just have one? He asked, shocked. Yes, I said babies. She had triplets, 2 boys and 1 girl. Would you like to see them? He didn't reply. He just walked forward and picked up the little baby girl. Jacob's paw. When I saw the babies I immediately gravitated towards the beautiful baby girl, and I picked her up. When I did this she started to wake up, and when she opened her eyes it was like time had stopped. There was this feeling inside me that was unexplainable. It was as if the only thing that mattered in this world was the baby girl I was holding and everything else, everyone else didn't matter anymore. I felt really protective of her and I knew that I would rather die than have something happen to her. This can't be. How could this have happened? Oh my God, I imprinted on her. Jacob, what's wrong with you? Alice asked me, interrupting my inner babble. Alice, Jane, Alec, please don't freak out, but I just imprinted on her. I said to them, and Alice went into shock while Jane and Alec had no idea what I was talking about. Alice says something, please. I almost begged, and that's when she finally reacted and I could tell she was mad. She took the baby away from me. How could you, Jacob? She is just a baby. What were you thinking? She screamed at me, which made the babies cry, and Jane and Alec went to clam them down while Alice was staring me down. Alice, please understands. I didn't do this on purpose, it just happened. I can't help it, I said to her, trying to explain to her as best I could. I know, Jacob, but she is just a baby. I guess I understand. I have read your legends and I know that it's nothing romantic that you are feeling. Right, she said, more calm. Yes, I don't feel that way about her right now. It's more like I'm her big brother trying to protect her from any harm. Thank you for understanding, Alice. Now can I please hold her? I asked. She hesitated a little but then passed her to me. Will someone like to explain to us what just happened? Alec asked. While I explained what Alice and I were talking about to them, Alice got the things ready for the babies. Alec and Jane felt the same as Alice on the whole imprinting on a newborn thing, but they understood that it was involuntary. Then we left for the mall. After hours of shopping we finally had to leave the mall because they were closing. These girls are crazy. Alice's paw. OMG. There are so many cute baby clothes in the mall and I wasn't shopping for 1 baby, I was shopping for 3. Talks about heaven. Jane was a big help. She has such an amazing sense of style that I am going to make her my new official shopping buddy while I am here. We had bought all the things for the nursery. We also got strollers and car seats and baby formula and toys. We basically bought all the store. It was so much fun. Now we were in the Volturi Castle's garage taking out everything. By that I mean Jane and I got the babies out while we made the boys carry all the things we bought inside. We should set up the cribs first. They are going to need a place to sleep in tonight. Jane suggested. Yeah, we should. Guys, bring all the things to the nursery. We will set up the cribs first. I said. Fine. They called back together. We spent about 3 hours setting up the nursery. It took up 1 hour to paint the room in pastel colors, then the rest of the time we spent telling the guys how to building all the baby furniture, folded all the clothes and put them in drawers, setting up toys, etc. Now we were trying to put the babies to sleep. I had one little boy, Jane had the other little boy, and Jacob had the little girl. It took us a while, but they had finally gone to sleep. Okay, let's put them in their cribs and go check on Bella. Who's going to stay with them? I said. I'll stay, Jacob said immediately. Okay then, Jane, let's go. I said. Okay, let's go, Jane replied. Then Jane and I went to see Bella. We heard her screams. It hurt to see her like that and to think that she still had 2.5 days left. The open from the C-section had already healed and her skin looked like ours. She looked so beautiful. I know that if Edward were here he would be sad that she was in pain, but ecstatic that she was going to live forever with the rest of our family. She looks so beautiful, doesn't she? Jane asked. Yes, she does. I can't wait till she wakes up, I replied. Bella's paw. I'm in so much pain right now. I feel like someone is burning me. It's a terrible burning sensation that I have never felt before in my life. I know that this means that I am going through the change. I will now be able to live forever with my babies. I remember seeing all 3 of their faces as they were born, but I didn't get to hold them or even look at them for more than a second. I may not have known that I was having triplets, but I love them all the same. They were so beautiful and I can't wait till I wake up so that I hold them in my arms. I feel like it has been years since the pain started and it doesn't seem to get better, it just increases, and right now I hear my heart racing and I am starting to feel my body again, but it doesn't matter because the pain in my heart just tripled and I feel like they are ripping out my heart out slowly. Then when they finally rip it out, the pain stops and I open my eyes to my new life. Bella's paw. Where am I? Where are my kids? I was talking to myself, then I heard movement and my body reacted without thinking, and one moment I was on the bed and then I was against the wall. That was going to need some getting used to. Bella, it's just us, don't be scared. I heard Alice say. Alice, what are you doing here? I thought you would have left by now. I said to her. You can't get rid of me that easily, Bella, she said, laughing while she walked forward. Thanks for being here, Alice, I really appreciate it, I said to her while giving her a hug. You are welcome. Like I was going to miss the birth of my niece and nephews, she said. Then I saw Jane still at the doorway looking awkward. I had totally forgotten about her. Jane, I am so glad you are here, I said, going over and hugging her. I'm glad you're awake, she said, hugging me back. You guys, can I please see my babies? I said, almost begging them. I think you should go hunt first, Bella. Isn't your throat burning? Alice asked. No, it's not burning now, can please just see them, I said. Well, I think we can't take any chances and we should go get you some of the bottled blood you have. Then we can go and see the triplets, okay? Alice said to me. Fine, let's go, but I want to see them right after that, I said to them and followed them out of the room I was in. We then went to the kitchen where there was a huge fridge with bottles filled with blood. Alice took 3 of them out, put them on the counter, and then went to get 3 glasses from the cupboard. After that she filled the glasses and handed one to each of us. We all drank our blood in 2 minutes. Can we go see my babies now? I said, whining. Yes, we can go now, but do you feel in control of yourself? Alice said to me. Yes, I do feel under control now, let's go, I said to both Alice and Jane. They just smiled, nodded, and then ran out of the room, signaling for me to follow them. We got to a closed set of double doors that was just across from the door that was my room. Who's with them? I asked them. Jacob, Jane replied. I just nodded and opened the door and walked in. I automatically walked over to Jacob and took my little girl in my hands. She was the cutest little baby I had ever seen. She had bright emerald-colored eyes and Edward's unique copper-colored hair. Her skin looked just as pale and beautiful like her father's. The only difference was that the temperature of her skin was like a human's, not ice-cold like a vampire's. When I looked up, I saw everyone staring at me. She is so beautiful. Jacob, can you please take her so that I can see my sons? I said to him. Yes, of course, he said, and came over and took her out of my arms. Then Alice walked over and handed me a tiny little baby boy. He, unlike his sister, had my brown hair but had the same beautiful bright emerald green eyes, and his skin was pale and beautiful, the same temperature of his sister's. He was just a little bigger than his sister but still tiny. Then Jane walked up to me and handed me my other little boy. He looked just like his brother. Same eyes, same hair, same length, and same skin. They were like a copy of one another. Bella, do you know what they are going to name them yet? Jacob asked. Well, I didn't know if it was going to be a girl or a boy, so I had a couple that I really liked and now I don't have to pick between them. I told them. Then after 5 seconds. So what are they? Don't keep us in suspense. Alice said, impatient like always. Okay, well, for my first baby boy I would like to name him Edward Anthony Mason Cullen. I know that Edward's dad was also named Edward and I wanted to continue that, as well as his middle name and his last name, except that Mason will not be used as a last name but a middle name. Cullen will be his official last name. I said to them. I love the name. Alice and Jane said at the same time. Yes, I really like the name Bells and I'm sure Edward will be happy when he finds out what you named him. Jacob said. So what about the other baby boy? Jane asked. I am going to name him Christopher Alexander Jason Cullen. I said. I have always liked the name Christopher, and Alexander Jason are great middle names. Alice said. What about the little girl? Jacob asked, looking at my daughter with loving eyes. That was weird, but I just ignored it. Okay, for my baby girl I picked Renesmee Rosalie Annabelle Cullen. I liked the name Annabelle a lot and I combined my mother's name with Esme's name and created Renesmee, and then I combined Rosalie and Alice and created Rosalie. Do you like it? I said to them. It's a very beautiful name, Bells, Jacob said to me, but was looking at my father weird. Lol. Yes, I really like it too. Jane said. Thank you for including me in her name, and you know that Rosalie always wanted kids and Esme lost her son, so I am sure they are going to love it as well. Plus Annabelle sounds like your name a lot, so I'm sure Edward will love it. Alice said, all excited, jumping up and down. Bella's paw. It has been 2 weeks since I gave birth to the triplets. Lots of things have happened since I woke up. For starters, my babies now look about 2 months rather than 2 weeks and some days. They were growing very fast, way too fast if you ask me. I had found out why Jacob was staring at my daughter like she was his world, and let's just say it wasn't a good day for him. Things here at the castle were going great. Everyone was in love with the triplets. My friendship with Jane had grown and now I see her like another sister. Alice and Jane have also gotten really close, which I'm really happy about. Alec had that same calming presence that Jasper has, so him and Alice immediately clicked. I think Alice just misses her husband and he reminded her of him, so that's why she liked spending time with him. Jacob, Felix and Dimitri were like the 3 musketeers. They were always together getting into trouble. Arrow, Keys, and Marcus were like my fathers and grandfathers to my kids, and like with everyone else, my babies had them wrapped around their little fingers. They really loved them and I know they would do anything to protect them. They even decided to change their diet so that they could be around the kids more without having to struggle with their thirst so much. Marcus wasn't so serious all the time anymore. He would smile and laugh with my kids when they did something cute or funny. Watching them interact with my kids was something beautiful, and I just wish Edward were here to see this with me, to see the kids grow up and teach them the things that he has learned in his life. I wish that all the Cullens were here, not just him. I know for a fact Rosalie and Esme would love to be here because Esme lost her baby and Rosalie had always wanted a baby. I just hope that one day they will all get to meet them. Today is the day that I have been dreading for a while. I knew it was coming, but it's still sad to see your best friend leave. I know Alice has to go back with her family and her husband, but I am going to miss her terribly, and I know my kids will too. Bella, come on, stop staring at the wall and come give me a proper goodbye hug. Alice said while putting a fake smile on her face. You better come back and visit us, I said, well, more like ordered her, and she just laughed. Well, of course I'm coming back. I would never be able to live if I didn't see my niece and nephews and my best friend. Plus, if I don't come back, who is going to make sure you all look like out of a movie superstars? She said in her perky high voice, sounding more like herself. You would say that, Alice, but I'm holding you to the I'm coming back part. The rest, well, we'll see. We laughed and hugged, then my babies came in. Well, finally. Cutting it a little close, aren't we? I have to leave in 5 minutes to catch my plane. Alice said to Jacob, Felix and Dimitri, who we holding my babies. Sorry shortly, but these little monsters were all in different parts of the castle. Belle was with Arrow in the throne room, Mason was with Heidi in the garden, and Jason was with Santiago on the rooftop. Jake explained. Whatever, give me them, I have to say bye to them. Alice said, still annoyed. She sat on the bed and they gave them to her one by one. Jason, Mason, Belle, I love you all and I feel so bad for leaving you, but Auntie Alice has to go home and be with your Uncle Jasper and everyone else. She said to them in a really sad voice, and I'm sure if she was able to cry she would be crying. We love you, don't be sad, said Belle. Yeah, did I mention they could talk already? We know you have to go back. Jason said. We understand, just please don't forget us, Auntie Alice. Mason said. It broke my heart to see Allie and the kids this sad, but this had to happen, it was inevitable. I would never forget you, I love you all too much, plus I am not saying goodbye forever, I will be back, this is more of an I'll see you later kind of thing. She explained to them. Yay, so when are you coming back? They all asked in unison, which just made her laugh. I don't know yet, but it will be soon, very soon, okay, she said. Okay, but don't take too long, we'll miss you, said Belle, while Jason and Mason nodded. I promise to be back soon, now give Auntie Alice one last big hug because I need to go, she said, and they all gave her a hug. She then got up and gave the guys the babies and then came up to me and gave me a bone-crushing hug. Take care of my niece and nephews and don't forget to take pictures of them every day because they grow too fast and I want to miss anything. Now I need to go, but I love you all so much. As she said the last part, she grabbed her bags and walked out the room. My babies automatically started to cry, so the guys gave them to me. I held them close to me and tried to calm them down while trying not to cry, sobbed myself. Alice's paw. I had to get out of the castle as soon as possible, if not I knew I wouldn't be able to leave. The past 2 weeks and a half had been incredible. I mean, I was an aunt, something I knew was never going to be possible because we were vampires and we can't have kids, but Bella had given birth to 3 little miracles. When I had the vision of Bella being pregnant and coming to the Volturi, I panicked and got on the first plane out of Rio. When I got here I thought I was going to be too late and that Arrow would have killed Bella because we all know Arrow forgives no one. So imagine my surprise when I get off the plane and I see Bella in labor having 3 little babies while Arrow and Jane help her. I then ran at full speed to the castle to do what I could. When I got there I helped Jane and Arrow deliver the babies, and then Arrow and Jane turned Bella into one of us because she wouldn't have survived otherwise. During the time she was changing, Jane told me what I had missed, which is when I found out Jacob was here and that both him and Bella had joined the Volturi. I was shocked but grateful that they had helped her. After she woke up she had amazing control over her thirst. We saw the babies and from there on out every day we spent the days together, her, myself and Jane. Yeah, I know what you are thinking, but Jane is actually really nice, well, to us at least. I had gotten really close to Alec because he reminded me so much of Jasper. He had blonde hair, they had the same personality, but most importantly he had that calm presence that Jasper always had. I miss Jasper and the rest of the family so much and I can't wait to see them. Yes, leaving Bella and my niece and nephew was hard, but I had to go back. Plus I know I'll see them soon. I don't know how I'm going to get away from my family to go see them, but I will find a way. With all my thinking I hadn't noticed how much time had passed. We were about to land in Alaska where I knew my family would be waiting. So let's hope they don't ask too many questions and they believe the lie, because if they don't then too bad, they aren't getting anything out of me. Alice's paw. Today was September 10th, which means I have less than 3 days to get to Italy for my niece and nephew's birthday and also Bella's. They were all born on September 13th. Since I left I have seen them every 2 months or so. Every time I would see them it was like I'm meeting a new person because they have grown so much. Last time I saw they looked to be 6 and it has been a little over 2 months now, so I can't wait to see how much they have grown. Everyone had been curious as to where I always disappeared to, and I always told them the same thing, which was that I was going to visit a friend in Italy. I'm sure they knew I was lying, but they never said anything. So today I had spent all day shopping on my own for gifts for the kids and Bella. I had bought Bella a bunch of new clothes and shoes, and for Jason and Mason and Belle I had gotten 3 Wii game systems, all with at least 30 games each, and then I had also gotten them the new 3DS, which I got in rose pink, aqua blue and cherry red, also with 30 games each. On top of that I also got Renesmee a Cullen Crest choker and a locket. For the boys I got them wristbands and rings. Yes, I know I spoil them too much, but they are the only niece and nephews I will ever have, so me. When I got home I made sure everyone was out hunting so that they wouldn't suspect anything, because who wouldn't be suspicious when they saw me come back from a shopping trip with game systems and video games? Well, everyone except Emmett, all he would say would be thank you and run off to play with the new video games. I quickly packed everything and in the end I had 10 suitcases. Well, thank God I was going on a private plane thanks to Arrow. I was finishing taking my bags downstairs when the family came in and just stood there shocked at how many bags I had. I always pack a lot when I travel but never this much. Wow, Allie, why so many bags? Asked Emmett. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys that I'm going to be leaving for Italy today in about an hour. I said. What, you're leaving again? Jasper said. Yeah, Jazz, but only for a couple days. I'll be back before you know it. I said, feeling a little guilty. Why haven't you told us? We could have gone with you, Alice, said Carlisle. Well, I'm just going to visit my friend. You guys know I like to visit her at least every 2 months and it's almost been 3 since I last saw her. Plus I didn't think you guys would want to go spend days in a house talking to someone you don't know. I said. Well, we do want to meet this friend of yours that you always go visit. Why can't we go? Rosalie asked. I had no idea what to say, so I just said, well, I need to go guys, or I'm going to miss my flight, and took my bags in the car and left as soon as possible. This is getting hard. I'm going to have to tell them soon or find a fake friend that they could meet so they would leave me alone. Bella's paw. Today Alice was coming for the kid's birthday and we were all really happy and excited to see her. It has been too long since she left. Right now I was running around the castle trying to find my kids. They were never in one place. They could never make my life easy. I finally gave up and screamed at them in their minds to come to the garage in less than 2 minutes if they wanted to go with me to go pick up Alice from the airport. Then less than a minute later they were in the garage along with Jacob. We all got in the big pearl white Hummer limo while Jacob went to the front to drive. We would have taken the Escalade, but knowing this pixie, she would have at least 7 bags. The car ride to the airport wasn't long and when we got there Alice's plane was just getting in. The kids ran to where we always met, which was where people got their baggage. When we got there Alice was on the moving baggage thing trying to get a suitcase. We all started to laugh at her and she turned around and glared at us. Shut up and help me with this, she said. I'm not getting on that thing, Belle and I said together. We'll help you, Jason and Mason said. Thank you boys, she said and told them which ones were hers. It took them a while but they finally got all 10 bags. Why do you need 10 bags, Alice? I asked. That is for me to know and for you to find out, she said smiling. Whatever, come give me a hug, you crazy pixie. She laughed and gave me my hug. Now why haven't I gotten my hug, you little monsters? She said to the kids. They laughed and ran and tackled her to the ground. You guys have gotten really strong, that actually kind of hurt, she said. Sorry, Aunt Alice, but we are just so happy that you are here to celebrate our first birthday. Mason said. Yeah, I'm excited too, but let me up, this floor is dirty, she said. When we got to the castle, Jane, Alec, Felix and Dimitri were waiting for us. Alice jumped out of the car and ran to them. All of us had become like a little family. They all missed Alice as much as the kids and I did. I missed you guys so much, she said to them. We missed you too, Shorty, Dimitri said to her while. Okay, enough with all the hugging, help me get my bags inside. Then I need to go see the ballroom and see what I have to work with. I only have a little over a day to make this party happen, she said to him. Fine, Dimitri said. Then he saw that Jacob had taken out 10 bags and stopped. Why the hell do you need 10 bags, Alice? He asked. I'm tired of all of you asking me the same question. Just know that I need all of it and shut up and carry it to my room, she said annoyed. Now let's go see the ballroom. We spent 10 minutes in the ballroom with Alice talking to herself and planning everything out in her head. Then she told Jane and I that we had to go shopping, that the kids couldn't go because it was going to be a surprise and we were going to need the limo. That was not a good sign. It means we are going to need a lot of space for all the things that we were going to need. We shopped for 7 hours straight, then we went home and she made all the guys carry the stuff to the ballroom, and then she got her cell phone out and made like a million calls, and when she was done she smiled and walked out of the ballroom. Jane and I were so confused but followed her. She ended up going to the kids' rooms. When she got to Mason's room she said, "Good night baby, I'll see you in the morning. Have a good night and don't get anywhere near the ballroom until it's time or I will not give you your gifts tomorrow." She then looked at us and told us to say good night. We did and then repeated the same thing with Jason and Belle. Now that that is out of the way, we have a lot of work to do. She led us back into the ballroom and we got to work. The next morning everything looked beautiful. The ballroom had been transformed into an Arabian dream because the kids were really into Aladdin. They were interested in other things, but I guess she decided to go with this because it was for both a girl and a boy. "What time is it?" Alice asked. "It's 8 a.m. Why?" I asked. "Because the DJ waiters and a bunch of other people are going to arrive an hour and you need to get the guys to take them out of the castle or all of our hard work will be ruined," she said. "Okay, let's go wake up Jacob," I said. We ran to his room and knocked for what seemed like hours. He didn't answer, so Alice kicked the door open and there he was sleeping like nothing had happened. I swear he could sleep through anything. Alice then walked to his bed and told us to get on and start jumping and that she was going to scream in his ear. When we started jumping and Alice screamed in his ear and he automatically jumped up and we laughed. "What the hell do you want?" he said, annoyed. "We need you and the rest of the guys to take the kids out to eat breakfast so that they don't see the things that will be coming in. You have to be out of here in 20 minutes. "Fine, now out," he said. "Next stop the babies' rooms," she said. "Alice, you know that they aren't babies anymore, right?" Jane said. "Well, they will always be my babies," she said. "Whatever, and they aren't in their rooms by this time. They are all in the music room with Arrow for their piano lessons," I said to her. As soon as the kids were out of the castle, the things started getting delivered. I had no idea Alice had ordered so much stuff. She had ordered 2 Arabian-looking bouncy houses, chocolate fountains, a DJ, hundreds of balloons and flower arrangements and a bunch of other stuff. I knew the kids were going to love all of this. The entire guard, the pack and some of Arrow's close friends from all around the world, so there would be a lot of people here. By 2 p.m. the room looked amazing and everyone was starting to get here. The kids were still not here. They weren't coming till 3:30 because they were going to go pick up the pack from the airport with Jake. Alice, Jane and I were waiting out front when they got there. When they saw us they ran to us and we hugged them and said happy birthday to them. When we were done hugging I saw as the pack got out of the limo. I haven't seen them since Jacob and I came to Italy and it was really weird seeing them again. Well, if it isn't my beautiful daughter. I stood there shocked as I saw my dad. Charlie came out from behind Quill and Embry. I had no idea what to do. I was speechless. "Daddy," I said and ran and hugged him. Yeah, we were never the hugging type before, but I hadn't seen him since I got pregnant and became a vampire. "I never thought I was going to see you again," I said to him. "Same here, Bella. I just woke up one day and you were gone. All that was left was a note that said that you were leaving, that you were fine and to not look for you," he said. "I'm sorry, Dad, but I had no choice," I said. "I know, so let's forget about the past and move on. I just saw your kids, but would you like to make the proper introductions?" he said. "Okay, let's move on. Jacob, have you introduced them to anyone?" I said, turning to Jacob. "No, sorry, there was no time. I had to get the monsters in time for their party," he said. "Okay then, kids, these are Sam, Emily, Quill, Claire, Jared, Kim, Paul, Rachel, Embry, Seth, Leah, Billy and Charlie," I said to them. "Everyone, these are my kids: Edward, Anthony, Mason Cullen, Christopher, Alexander, Jason Cullen, and Renesmee, Rosalice, Annabelle Cullen. They are mine and Edward's kids and they were born exactly 1 year ago today. They are half vampire, half human," I said, and everyone was speechless. Well, let's leave this awkward moment aside and go inside. I did not work my ass off to have it wasted," Alice said, and everyone turned to stare at her. "Alice Cullen, my favorite Cullen, how have you been?" Charlie said. "I have been good, Charlie. Nice to see you again," she said, hugging him. "Mom, is he really our grandpa?" Belle asked. "Yeah, he is. Now all of you come here and say hi," I said. They come over shyly and gave him a hug and said hi. Then they said hi to the guys from the pack and hugged the girls. "Okay, enough of this, let's go inside. I want to see their faces," Alice said. "Fine guys, let's go inside. Just leave the bags in the car, we'll get them later," I said. We were walking in and we could already hear the music booming off the walls, and when Alice opened the double doors the kids stopped in their tracks as they took in all of our work. "Sue, do you like it?" Alice asked. "Yes, it's beautiful, Aunt Alice, thank you," they said, and they ran in. Everything was going great so far. Everyone was enjoying themselves, and then Alice gets a call and she goes outside and comes back in with like 30 kids. "Alice, where did you get all these kids?" I asked. "From Arrow's orphanage. Plus, what's a kids' party without kids?" she said. Wow, she had really thought about everything. Alice's paw. The party was going great, the music was awesome, everyone loved the food, everyone was getting along. I just wish that my family was here to enjoy this with all of us. All that was left for us to do was the cake and presents, and right on cue the waiters came in with the 4 birthday cakes. Yes, I said 4 because it was also Bella's birthday and I wasn't going to let her forget it. Okay, everyone gather around, time for cake. Now Bella, Belle, Mason and Jason stand here so that I can take a picture. I took lots of pictures of them, then we all sang them the happy birthday song and they cut the cake. When everyone had their cake, it was time for presents. We want to go first, Felix, Dimitri and Jacob said. They left for around 10 seconds and then came back riding huge 4-wheelers. Also Jacob gave Belle a Quileute bracelet that for some reason surprised the pack. The kids jumped up and thanked them. Okay, now it's my turn, but I need help, so Alec, Jane and Jacob, would you help me? They said yes and went with me to my room where I asked them to get all the boxes and bags that were on my bed. Okay, first presents are the ones Jake is holding, so if you would please give it to them, it has their name on them. He did as I asked and the kids were really excited about their Wiis and games. Next are the ones Alec is holding. Alec gave it to them and they were even more excited because a 3DS was portable so they would be able to take it. Jane, can you give Bella her gift? And yes, Bella, I know you hate gifts, but it's your birthday, so such it up. Everyone laughed at that, but Bella was happy when she saw it was clothes and shoes she actually liked. Last but certainly not least, I give you these, I said, handing Belle and Bella the choker and locket with the Cullen crest on it, and Jason and Mason the wristbands and rings. When Bella saw what it was, she actually started crying, sobbing, and the kids were just quiet. That, in case you kids don't know, that is the Cullen crest. Everyone in our family wears it one way or another, and I give them to you today so that you all know that you are Cullens, even Bella. You were always looked at as a daughter to Carlisle and Esme and a sister to Emmett, Jasper, me and even Rosalie, and you mean the world to my idiot of a brother. Even now, after all this time, he still loves you and is in pain because he is not with you, but that was the consequence to his mistake. He left to protect you, but all he did was cause you both pain, and one day after you give him hell for leaving, you will officially become a Cullen, but until then I hope that this makes you and the kids feel a part of the family, I said, and when I was done the kids were all crying and clinging to Bella. Thanks, Alice, this means the world to me, Bella said, and then came to hug me, and then the kids hugged me too and said thank you. After that the kids got lots of amazing gifts from everyone else, and then the party ended. The kids and the rest of the humans went to bed except the orphans that had to go back to the orphanage. Then everyone that was left helped clean up the mess that was made in the ballroom. Bella's paw, I can't believe my babies turned 1 today. They look around 8 but they are still 1. They are growing up too fast. I know that at this rate they will be fully matured by the time they are 3, and I just wish time would slow down. Alice outdid herself today. I could not have asked for a better party. The thing that touched me the most was that she gave my kids and I the Cullen crest. Yes, it's a small thing, but it makes us feel part of something more than just the Volturi. By her giving us the crest, she gave me hope that one day Edward, the kids and I will be together. Let's just hope that day isn't too far away. Bella's paw, it has been 2 years. The kids are now a little over 3 and they look 18. My babies have grown up and it's sad, but I will always have those memories of when they were babies. It makes me a little sad that Edward has missed all of this, but Alice has always been there for us. She has watched them grow and mature with me. They are 3, but their state of mind is way beyond their years, and so is their physical appearance, so it isn't that weird that Belle and Jacob have now been dating for around 5 months. It was very awkward at first, but he makes her happy, and that is all I can ever ask for. Right now Jacob, the kids, Jane, Alec, Felix, Dimitri and I are on a flight going to Forks for Rachel and Paul's wedding. The kids are really excited to see Forks, which is where Edward and I met. I don't really talk to the kids about their father, but they do know who he is and the things he liked to do, and they have seen him in pictures that Alice has shown them. I think that in a way they are hoping to feel closer to him by going to a place he used to live in. I feel bad that they don't know him yet, but they will one day, and know they will love him just as much as I did. When the plane landed, we went to get our bags, then met up with Seth and Leah, who were picking us up. Welcome home, Bella, Jacob and the rest of you. Welcome to the very rainy Forks, Washington. Seth said. Okay, come on, let's go. I'm sure they want to go home and rest after that long flight from Italy. So where exactly are we taking you guys? Leah said to her brother. Alice and I have been working on a house here since the kids were born, and it was recently finished, so if you could drop us off there that would be great. I said. Sure, where is it? It's in the woods near La Push. It's close to the treaty line you have with the Cullens. I said. Oh yeah, I know where that is. I was wondering who would build a house in the woods and now I have my answer, she said, and I was happy she knew because I have never actually seen it in person. Wow, was the first thing the kids and I said when we saw the house. It wasn't even a house, it was a mansion. I honestly had no idea it was this big. Well, you definitely know how to build a house, Bella, Dimitri said to me. Thanks, now let's go inside and see if it's as pretty from the inside as from the outside, I said, and we walked in. It was beautiful. It was a 3-story mansion with a double staircase going up, and the walls were all white with all the decorations in black and white on the first floor. There was crystal chandeliers and black and with photos of all of us, and when I say everyone I mean everyone, all the Volturi and the pack, my kids and I, and of course Charlie, Renee and Alice. I was actually starting to wonder why the rest of the Cullens weren't included. There was a huge living room, dining room and kitchen on the first floor. The second floor was here all the rooms were, and each one was different. Arabian, jungle, safari, Hawaiian were the rooms with a theme. Then there was the neon zebra print room and the neon cheetah print room, and the last room that was at the end of the hallway was black and white, very elegant with a crystal chandelier. It looked a lot like the first floor. And then there was a huge black and white picture of Edward and I from the day we went to prom. I guess this is my room. I couldn't stop staring at it, and without even noticing I had started to cry, and that's how kids found me. Mom, what's wrong? Belle asked, not noticing the picture right in front of her, so I just pointed at it and she, just like me, was speechless, and when her brothers saw it they reacted just like their sister. After a while I was able to calm down. That picture was taken at prom. I remember having a broken leg with a cast on it that made me look horrible, but we were so happy that it didn't matter. I said to them, "Wow, you were really pretty, Mom," Mason said. "Will we ever get me him, Mom?" Jason asked. "Do you think he would even want to meet us?" "Do you think he will want us?" asked Belle. "Of course you will get to meet your father. I don't know when, but you will, and I'm sure he would want to meet you. He just doesn't know about you right now. If he did, I'm sure he would be here in a heartbeat, and I'm sure once he knows, he will love you all as much as I do," I said to them. After that we went to the third floor, and it turns out it was divided into 2 parts. The first was a game room with all the games you could imagine, and the second was our very own movie theater. We also found an indoor pool on the first floor, which was pretty cool. When we finished exploring the house, we all picked a room and got settled in. Alice's pa. The past 3 years have been crazy with Bella and the kids. I haven't seen Belle, Jason and Mason since their 3rd birthday, and it was now December. I can't believe how much they have grown. They now look 18 and have stopped growing altogether. They act, think and look 18, so they may not seem like babies anymore, but they are only 3 and they will always be like babies. My family still had no idea what was going on. They would try and get me to talk, but I never gave anything up, but they still keep trying. We have currently moved back to Forks, hoping that being here will cheer Edward up a little. Alice, will you please go to the grocery store? We need to buy food for the food drive that the hospital puts up every year. Esme asked me. Jasper, will you come with me? I asked. Yeah, sure, let's go, he said. We left and went to the only grocery store in Forks, and thank God it wasn't full because Jasper hasn't fed in a while and we wouldn't want an accident. We had gotten most of the stuff that we usually got for the food drive, but I was still missing the instant mashed potatoes that for some reason we couldn't find, so Jasper and I split up. I went left, he went right. I had finally found them, but they were on the top shelf and I couldn't reach them, so I was about to call Jasper when someone bumped into me. Hey, watch, I started to say, but then I saw Alice, Jason said excitedly. Jason, what are you doing here? I said while hugging him tightly, and he spun me around. He was about to answer when Jasper came out of nowhere and pulled him away from me. Shit, Jasper, let go of him, I said, about to freak out. Then Mason appeared out of nowhere. Dude, let my brother go, he screamed at Jasper. Jasper pushed Jason to the ground, and that's when I lost it. What the hell, Jasper? I screamed at him and helped Jason up, making sure he was okay. Alice, Mason asked when he realized it was me. Hi, honey, I said, then went to give him a hug, but Jasper stopped me and pulled me against his chest so that I couldn't move. What the hell, Jasper, let me go, I said a little too loudly. I don't know who you are, but you better let her go now, Jason said. Or else what? Jasper challenged. I had to stop this. Stop, all of you, shut up. And Jasper let me go. Thank God they listened. Auntie Alice, what's going on and who is this guy? Why did he want to hurt Jason? Mason asked me. This is my husband Japper honey, and he was only going to hurt Jason because he thought Jason was hurting me, so please don't worry about it now. Will you both give me a hug? I haven't seen you since you guys' birthday. I said to them, and when I was done they both came and gave me the bone-crushing hug they always did. We missed you, Auntie Alice, you need to visit more often, they said, and I laughed. Then I heard Jasper clear his throat. Alice, will you please explain to me what just happened because I'm confused, he said. I looked at the boys, then at Jasper. I guess it had to come out sometime. Jasper, do you remember when I would leave every 2 months to go visit a friend in Italy? I asked, and he just nodded. Well, I would go visit a friend, but that friend is their mother and she has 3 kids, them 2 and a girl. I said, why would you visit them? How do you even know them? He asked. Jasper, look at them, do they remind you of someone? I waited a couple seconds and then he got it. Bella, they look like her and Edward, but that's not possible, is it? He asked. Well, we are standing right here, so yeah, it is possible, Uncle Jasper, Mason said. I'm an uncle. Wait, Edward's a father. Why didn't we know about this? How did you know about this, Alice, and for how long? Jasper said. Yes, you're an uncle, Edward's a father, and you didn't know about this because Bella made me promise not to tell. Oh, and I have known since the day they were born. I actually helped deliver them. I said. All Jasper said was, wow. Now why are you guys in Forks and not in Italy? I asked Mason and Jason. We came down for Paul and Rachel's wedding, they said. Oh yeah, I forgot. Wait, why wasn't I invited? I want to go. I said. They are getting married tomorrow, Aunt Alice, and you are invited. Don't you remember she invited you on our birthday? And you didn't get an invite because there was nowhere to send it to, but if you want to go you can come, they said, laughing at me. I had totally forgotten that I was invited and you didn't have my address, so I forgive her for not sending me my invite. But I am definitely going to that wedding. I have been waiting forever for them to actually set a date, plus I helped plan part of it. I said. Alice, Jasper said quietly. Yeah, we aren't allowed on Quileute land. That would break the treaty, he said. Oh, I know, but I am a friend of the bride and the pack members, so I can cross without breaking the treaty. They all love me over there, I replied, and he didn't reply. Aunt Alice, I think he's in shock, Jason said. Yeah, look at him. He looks like he has seen a ghost. Mason said. Jasper, are you okay? I asked. When did this happen and how did we not notice this? He said. I know it's a lot to take in, but come on, you must be happy. I know I was when I found out. I said to him. I am happy, who wouldn't be? But it's still weird to see them all grown up when they are supposed to be 3, he said. I know these monsters grew up way too fast for my liking, I said, laughing and while hugging Jason and Mason. Jasper was quiet for a minute, then he snapped out of it and was back to normal. Okay, I'm all better. When do I get the official introduction? He said that, and I knew right then that he was okay with this and that he was happy to be an uncle. Jasper, this is Edward Anthony Mason Cullen, and then this is Christopher Alexander Jason Cullen, but everyone calls them Mason and Jason. And this, you guys, is my wonderful husband Jasper, the one I have told you so much about, I said, finishing the introductions. It was then quiet for a minute while they guys took this in. Well, are you guys just going to stand there, or are you going to give your Uncle Jasper a hug? He asked, and then both Jason and Mason went and gave him a hug. I was so happy I couldn't even explain it. This is so cool, I can't believe we just met you, but Belle is going to be sad that she didn't, Jason said while Mason nodded. Who's Belle? Jasper asked. She's our sister, they both replied. So Bella had triplets. How did she even survive that if you were all part vampire? Jasper said. Yes, Bella had triplets and she only survived because the Volturi helped her. I said. What, the Volturi? Why would she go to them? They could have killed her. Jasper said. She didn't have a choice, Jasper. We left, remember, and Jacob was only able to do so much. They needed a vampire to help turn her, if not she was going to die, I said, and then he was quiet. If I hadn't lost control on her birthday, then this would never have happened. This is all my fault, he said. Don't blame yourself, Uncle Jasper, everything is fine now, Mason said. Oh, and Alice, we just saw the house, it is awesome, we all love it, Jason said. I'm glad you all like it, I spent a lot of time making sure it was perfect. Did your mom like her room? You mean the one with the huge picture of mom and dad on it? Yeah, she liked it. She cried a little because of the picture, but after she calmed down she loved it, Jason replied. Aunt Alice, is he here? Mason asked. Yes, he is. He's locked in his room all depressed like always, but he's here. I said. Why is he so sad? Mason asked. He is sad because he misses your mom. We moved here to try and cheer him up, but it's not working. He's even worse now. I replied. I wish we could go see him even for a second. I just want to see him in person for once. Mason said. You should come see him then. Why do you think you're not allowed? Jasper said. We know we can, but we don't know if we should. I don't know if Mom is ready to see him again, and if we went without Belle she would kill us. Jason replied. Well, why don't we go talk to Bella and see what she says? Jasper said. Okay, let's go, but I'm warning you there are Volturi guards with us at the house, Jason said. Is Jane here? Please tell she's here. I asked. Yeah, she's here. Alec, Dimitri and Felix are also here. Mason said. Yay, I have missed them so much. Now let's go. I want to talk wedding outfits for tomorrow with your mother. I said while Jasper stared at me like I was an alien. What? Never mind, let's go. I want to meet my niece and see your mother again. Jasper said. We then bought all of the things for the food drive and we left with Mason and Jason to the house Bella and I had been working on. Wow, this is a nice house, Jasper said. Thanks, Bella and I worked hard on the design. We got down and when we walked in the door the house looked deserted. Mom, Jason yelled. We are in the game room, she said. Come on, let's go see everyone. I said, pulling Jasper to the third floor. I'm here, I said when I walked in. Aunt Alice, what are you doing here? Belle asked. I live here now. Well, not in this house but in Forks. I said. Oh, she said and came and hugged me. Aunt Alice, who is this? She asked. This is my husband Jasper, I said. Really? OMG, hi, she said all excited while hugging him. It's nice to meet you too, he replied while returning the hug. I'm so sorry, Bella, Jasper said as soon as he saw Bella walking toward us. Don't worry about it, Jasper, it wasn't your fault, she said and hugged him. Thank you, was all he said. So why are you guys here? I'm sure this was more than just a visit. I can tell from the excitement in Alice. Bella said. Okay, you caught me. We actually came here to see if you and the kids could come see Edward. I said and she just stared at me like I was crazy. Can we go, Mom? I just want to see him once, that's all I ask for. Mason said. Yeah, Mom, can we go? I want to meet my dad, Belle said. Mom, are you ready to see him again? Jason asked. I can't deny you guys the opportunity to see your dad. I know you have been wanting to meet him. You ask if I'm ready. Well, I'm not, but I'll go because I know it will make you kids happy. Bella said and the kids all went up to hug her. Since you guys are going, I just have to warn you, Edward isn't in the best shape. He has been depressed for the past 3 years. We can barely get him to go hunting and he doesn't talk to anyone. I said to them and they were all shocked. Alice, maybe you should go to your house and tell everyone that some friend are coming over so that we don't just drop in and surprise everyone too much. Bella said. That's a good idea, but I want you guys there within the hour and I think it would be good if all of you came, including Jacob, Felix, Dimitri, Jane and Alec. It would be better if they knew from the beginning what happened. Oh, and I may need Felix and Dimitri to help me with something. I said. Whatever you need, Shorty, we're here to help, Dimitri said. I then went over to them and told them the plan. They agreed. Okay, then see you at my house, bye, I said. Jasper and I left immediately after that, and on the way home we called Carlisle and told him he had to come home. Thankfully Carlisle and us pulled into the house at the same time, so we didn't have to wait for him. Jasper and I blocked our thoughts from Edward when we walked in. Alice, why did I have to come home so fast? Did something happen? Carlisle asked when we were all gathered in the living room. Well, all except Edward. You guys have always wanted to know why I always go to Italy every 2 or so months, and today you're finally going to find out. I said. So your friend is coming here today? Why hadn't you told us before? Esme asked. It's more than one friend, more like a family. I love them all so much and I know you all will too. I said to them. How do you know we'll love them? We have no idea who they are, Rosalie said. You'll know who they are when you see them. Now you guys have to be on your best behavior, okay? I said to them all. We will, Alice, especially if they mean this much to you. Carlisle said. They will be here in 5 minutes, let's just wait for them here. They were going to be here in 10 seconds and I couldn't wait to see how the family will react to the show. 3, 2, 1 show time. I saw them all in their black cloaks and my family's faces were so funny, especially when the door flew open. All of them walked in and stopped in front of us until I gave Felix and Dimitri the signal so that they could go and drag my brother's sorry ass down here. It took about 5 seconds and they came back dragging him. Dimitri had one arm and Felix had the other, then they threw him to the ground in front of us. I swear my family was about to shit their pants, their expressions were priceless and Jasper and I couldn't contain our laughter in any longer. So I stood up and walked up to the guys as they put down their hoods. Thanks guys, that was too funny. I can't believe you did that. With a serious face, I wouldn't have been able to. I said to them and my family was looking at me like I was a crazy person. Alice, what's going on? Why are the Volturi here? I thought you said we were meeting your friends. Carlisle said, you or everyone meet my friends Felix and Dimitri. I said, why did you tell them to do that to me, Alice? Edward asked. Because it was funny and I need you here for this. You are the reason that they are here. I said to him, why am I the reason? I didn't do anything. He said, and that's when Jane made her presence known. Or so you think. If it were up to me I would make you suffer, but it's not up to me, so you're safe for now, she said. Jane, come on, don't scare him. Alex said, pulling his hood off. Fine, she said. Why not? It's fun to watch him be scared just like Bella was when he left, Jacob said, pulling his hood off. I did it to protect her, Edward replied. Well, that didn't work out, did it? Do you know where she is now? Jacob said. No, Edward sighed. That's what I thought, Jacob said. Alice, why would you bring these people here? All they are doing is hurting Edward even more. Rosalie said. There is a reason for everything I do, I replied. Well then, what's the reason? Because all I see is my brother on the floor in more pain than he was before, she yelled at me. Rosalie clammed down. Jasper said to her, she's hurting him. Jasper, can't you see that? She told him. It always hurts before it gets better, he said to her. And right now it's about to get better, I said to them, and they were all confused. But Jasper and I walked over to the kids and saw that they all had tears in their eyes. Babies, don't cry, it's going to get better soon, I said to them. Jasper and I kissed their tears away and pulled the 4 of them forward. Edward, get up, I said, and he slowly did, and that's when Bella took off her hood. Alice's paw. Bella, is that really you? Edward sighed. Yay, it's really me, she said. Why are you a vampire? He asked. I had to become a vampire or I would have died, she said to him. Who did it? Tell me who almost killed you and I will go and kill them right now, he said. Would you really kill your own kids, Dad? The triplets said together while taking their hoods off. Everyone of my family was in shock, just like Jasper was. What? Edward asked. Would you kill your own kids, Cullen? Jacob said to him while going to Belle and hugging her, trying to comfort her. No, I would never do that. Bella, I have kids, he said, and she nodded. He then pulled her to him and hugged her, then they both started crying. I'm so sorry, Bella, I should have never left. I still love you, maybe even more than before I left, to protect you, and me doing that almost chaosed your life. I'm so sorry, he said to her. It's okay, Edward, things happen for a reason, she said to him. While this was happening, all the kids started to cry. Jacob was trying to calm down Belle, and Jane and I were trying to do the same with Mason and Jason. Bella, can we go talk in private? Edward asked. Bella looked at the kids and they all nodded. Then they both went upstairs. You guys can sit down if you want, I said to everyone. Thanks, Shorty, but I think your family is already going crazy and I'm sure it wouldn't help if I sat down next to them. Dimitri said. Aunt Alice, I don't think they want us here. Can we go? Belle asked me. Of course we want you here. You don't have to go. I guess that snapped Rosalie out of her shock moment. You are always welcome here, Esme said, coming back as well. I can't believe I have new people to play with, Emmett said. See, they want you here. I said to them. You kids don't have to worry about us not wanting you here. We were just in shock for a while and you're part of this family, so you are always welcome, Carlisle said. Then Edward and Bella came back holding hands, so I'm guessing everything is fine now. Kids, I want you to meet your father, Bella said. Edward the First would like to introduce you to our kids: Edward Anthony Mason Cullen, Christopher Alexander Jason Cullen, and Renesmee Rosalice Annabelle Cullen. But they go by Jason, Mason, and Belle, Bella said. You named him after me? He asked. Yes, I did. I know that your father was also named Edward, so I wanted to continue the tradition, she said. I can't believe you remembered that and you kept my full name, not just Edward the First. Can't even tell you how that makes me feel," he said, pulling her closer to him. "I'm glad you like the name," she replied. "I still can't believe I'm a father." Edward sighed. "Well, believe it because you have 3 kids that don't know the meaning of the words calm and behaved." I said to him, "Yeah, Dad, we may seem calm and behaved right now, but that's because we are letting you all adjust." Jason told him, "We're not really that bad, Dad." Mason said, "We can be the perfect little angels." Belle said, "Yeah, right." Jacob said, and Belle hit it in the arm. "That hurt." He said, "Shut up." "And so it begins," Mason said. "Before this turns ugly, would anyone like to tell us the story?" Carlisle asked. Bella then told everyone the story. "That's a crazy story, Bells." Emmett said, "Yeah, well, it was crazy, but now I'm happy with my kids and Edward's back in the picture, so things couldn't be better." "There is still one thing I have to do," Edward sighed. "And what's that?" I said. "I need to hug my kids," he said while going up to them, and they each willingly hugged him. "I'm glad you and Mom are back together, Daddy," Belle said while hugging him tightly. "Me too," he replied. "Okay, enough with all of this, we have to go shopping for the wedding," I said. "Alice, you know he has to ask her to marry him before you can go crazy planning and shopping, right?" Rosalie told her. "Not Edward and Bella's wedding, Rachel's and Paul's," I said like it was the most obvious thing in the world. "Who's Rachel and Paul?" Emmett asked. "Rachel is my sister and Paul is my annoying soon-to-be brother-in-law," Jacob said. "Now that is cleared up, I need to go find a dress, so Jane, Belle, let's go," I said. "Jason, Mason, Alec, Felix, Dimitri, you can either come along with us or you can go do whatever it is you do," I said. "Alice, you can't go to that wedding," Rosalie said. "And why not?" I said. "You will be breaking the treaty if you do," she said. "I will not be breaking the treaty because, like I told Jasper, I'm friends with the bride and the pack and I helped plan the wedding, so there is no way I'm missing this wedding," I said. "Okay, then I guess everything is fine," Rose said. "I'm sorry you guys can't go, but I have been helping plan this wedding for months now and I really don't want to miss it," I said. "It's fine, Alice, go to the wedding," Carlisle said. "Thanks for letting her go to the wedding, Carlisle. I know my sister really wants her there, but we had no idea where you lived, so we were never able to send her the invites. I'm sure when she sees her there she will be really surprised and happy," Jacob said to Carlisle. "You're welcome, Jacob, and congratulate your sister for me," Carlisle said. "I will, Carlisle, and I'm sure once the pack gets to know you guys they will let you guys come over to our land." "Okay, enough talking, it's time to go shopping," Alice said. Jacob's paw. The kids and all the girls left, so that just left Felix, Dimitri, Alec and myself standing there in the middle of the Cullens' living room. Talk about awkward. "Okay then guys, I think we should go," I said. They all just nodded and we started to leave, but Edward stopped me. "Jacob, I just wanted to say thank you for helping Bella," he said. "You're welcome, I guess, but just know I didn't do it for you. I did it for her. I would never turn my back on her when she most needed me," I said to him. "I know you must hate me for leaving her alone and pregnant, but I want you to know that I didn't know she was pregnant and I left to protect her," he said. "To protect her? That is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. If you really loved her as much as you say you do, then you never would have been able to leave," I said, angry at his stupidity. "Leaving her was the hardest thing that I have ever had to do, but I wanted her to have a happy human life. I wanted her to go to college, get married, have kids. Those were things that she wasn't going to be able to do with me, so I left," he said, and that just got me even more pissed. "Well, that didn't happen, obviously," Felix said quietly, but we all heard. "The only thing that you did by leaving her was hurting her. You left her hurt, pregnant, and to top it, of her own kids were killing her. You fucked up because of your stupid mistake. Those 3 beautiful kids have grown up without a father. You yourself have missed watching them grow up to be who they are now. Yeah, they are only 3, but they are now fully matured. You missed seeing them take their first steps, saying their first words, all of the little things that make staying up late and changing hundreds of diapers worth it. You never freaked out for hours when you couldn't find them, and then when you did they were sound asleep in their beds and you swore you looked there before, but in the end it didn't matter because you were just happy they were safe. You were never there to comfort them when they had a nightmare and were scared at night, or when they fell and scraped their knee, but we were." I pointed to Felix, Alec, Dimitri and myself. "We held them and comforted them when they cried. You weren't there when they needed you the most, and I know that they have all happily accepted you back in their lives, but you mess up once and you will have us to deal with. I said, gesturing to us again. Yeah, Cullen, watch what you do, because first wrong move and we will kill you. Dimitri said, if I'm feeling generous I'll use my gift on you so you don't feel pain, but I would really like to see you suffer. Alex said, and you will suffer for hours while we torture you. You will beg us to kill you, but we will just laugh and torture you some more. Felix said. Edward looked like he was about to shit his pants, and the rest of the Cullens were just shocked at our words. Don't say we didn't warn you, I said while we made our way out of their house. Dimitri's paw. Dude, I can't believe we just did that. Bella is going to kill us. I said. I think she should kill Jacob because he started it. Felix said. Hey, you were all wanting to do the same thing, but I was the only one man enough to actually do it. Jacob replied. Yeah, sure, whatever. I can't wait to see what Bella is going to do to you when she hears you almost made her daddy shit his pants, I said. Shit, don't tell her, Jacob said sounding scared. No promises, I said. Beginning. Alice's paw. The wedding colors were red and white. This wedding has a dress code thanks to me, so everyone invited had to be wearing white, and I mean head to toe white. If you had a blue dress on you weren't getting in. If you were wearing a white dress with black shoes, sorry, you have to change the shoes if you want to go in. I know it's a little crazy, but I had been working on this wedding for so long that there was no way in hell that I was going to accept anything less than perfect. There was also a dress code for the bridesmaids. We had to be wearing a white flowing dress to the wedding ceremony and a red dress to the reception. Paul's best man and the other members of his party had to be wearing white dressing pants and white button-up shirt to the ceremony, and then they had to change into white suits with a red vest, tie and pocket squares for the reception. Most of the work was already done because we had ordered the guys' outfits and our white matching bridesmaid dresses months ago, but we had all decided that we each wanted to pick our own red dress because we each wanted a different style and couldn't agree on the same one. You may be wondering why we had to be wearing red instead of white. Well, the answer is we didn't want to look like everyone else. Yay, we are here now, let's go shopping, I said. Well, we are going to GameStop, Mason and Jason said. Okay, well, text us if you're going somewhere else. They both nodded and then they left. Come on girls, we only have a couple hours till the mall closes. We spent hours looking for the perfect dress, and 4.5 hours later we did find the perfect dress for the 4 of us. We called Jason and Mason and we left to Bella's house. Next day, I was laying in bed with Jazzy when I saw that it was 4 a.m. and that means I have to get over to Bella's house to start getting everyone ready for the wedding. Hey Jazz, I have to go, I said. Do you really have to leave right now? It's only 4 a.m., he said while holding me closer. Yeah, I do. I have to get 8 people picture perfect ready for the wedding, I said. Are you going to come back tonight, or are you staying with Bella? He asked. I am actually going to be staying at La Push, I said really fast. What, why? He asked, a little worried. Well, in La Push they have this tradition where no matter what kind of party you are having, with the exception of kids' parties, it lasts all weekend. You dance and drink until you can't dance or drink anymore, then you go home for 4 hours sleep, a little shower change, and then come back and party some more. I said to Jasper, not really an Indian tradition, but it is a tradition in my family. You're kidding me, right? He said, and I just shook my head. No, that sucks. That means that I won't be able to see you for almost 3 days, because knowing you, you are going to stay and help them clean up after, he said, all sad. Sorry Jazz, I'm going to miss you, but I have missed all of them too. I mean, I haven't seen Dimitri, Felix, Jane, Alec, Jacob, Bella, Belle, Jason or Mason in a couple months, and I haven't seen the rest of the pack in almost a year, plus all the Sam and Emily's twins must have grown so much since I last saw them, and what's a better way to catch up than to party? Plus I did help plan this wedding, so please don't make me feel guilty for going and having fun with my friends and family. I said, fine, go have fun, but call me tonight just so I know you're still alive, Jasper said. Thank you Jasper, and trust me, they wouldn't hurt a hair on my head, they love me too much to do that, I said, laughing at the end. Well, you better go if you want to get everyone ready on time, it's already 4:20 a.m., he said. Shit, I have to go, but I love you and I'll call you later. Bye, I said while getting the 3 suitcases of stuff that I had packed and running to the car. 10 minutes later. Okay everyone, I'm here now, get up, I said, walking into Bella's house. You know we don't actually sleep, right, Pixie, and we can hear you perfectly, so stop yelling, Felix said. Whatever, just come and help me set up the makeup tables. I only have 4 hours to get everyone ready. I said. Hey, are the kids still sleeping? I asked. Yeah, but I would be more worried about getting Jacob up. He can sleep through anything, he said. You're right, get this done. I want those tables set up perfectly with everything that I have in the suitcases in 10 minutes, so get to work while I go and try to get these people out of bed. He nodded. Bella Jane, you better be getting into those showers now, I said, and within seconds I heard the showers running. Then I went upstairs and went to Mason's room first because he was the easiest to get up. Mason, honey, wake up, I said while slightly shaking him. He just said 5 more minutes and turned around. Mason, wake up, I screamed while jumping on his bed. Then he finally opened his eyes. Oh, hi Aunt Alice, why do I have to wake up so early? He said. Because you do now, up and in the shower, mister. I said. Next was Jason, and he was harder to wake up, so I went and got my water gun from downstairs, filled it with water, and went to his room. Jason, wake up, I said, and since he didn't even move I started to jump on his bed and still nothing, so I started wetting him and jumping at the same time. What the? He said, and I cut him off. Don't even dare finish that sentence now, up and into the shower. I said. He nodded and got up. Now the hardest of the 3 to wake up, Belle. You may wonder why, and the answer is Jacob. She grew up sleeping cuddled up next to this guy, and he snores like a chainsaw, and now they share a room, so it's even worse. I knew I needed some backups. I called Dimitri and Felix, gave them water guns and told them to wet them while I jumped on their bed and screamed at them to wake up, and even then it took a while. Belle, Jacob gets your lazy asses up and into the shower now, and I mean separate showers. I said to them. Aunt Alice, you know it's now like that we are waiting till we are married to do that kind of stuff. Belle said. Yeah, just get in the shower. I said. I went downstairs and got to work on Bella and Jane first. Then I gave all of the guys their ceremony outfits, and then I go to work on Belle and myself. It was almost 8 a.m. and the limo is supposed to be here any second so that we can meet up with everyone else at the gardens where we were going to be taking the first set of pictures. The limo finally got here and we left. OMG, Alice, you are here, was the first thing that Rachel said. You didn't think I would miss your wedding, did you? I said while giving her a hug. No, but I didn't get to send you the invite because I didn't know where you lived, but I was hoping someone had told you, she said. Well, they did. Now it's time for some pictures, so smile and look pretty, I said while laughing. Hey shorty, I didn't think you were going to make it, Paul said while giving me a hug. Yeah, I know, invite problem, but now is not the time for talking, now is the time for pictures, so smile and look hot, I said. I can do that, he said. We took around 250 pictures in the gardens with all the bridal party and their parents. Then we moved to our second location, which was in the woods surrounding La Push Beach. This was my favorite location, but it was a pain in the ass because we were wearing long flowing with dresses and 6-inch stilettos. You may be wondering why it's my favorite location. Well, it is because since it is still early in the morning, there is still fog in the woods, which will make the pictures look mysterious, and also Paul and the rest of the pack will be in wolf form for some of our pictures, and the wolves may not smell so good, but it is so much fun to get on top of them and have wolf races, you know, like horse races. Well, anyway, we took like 400,500 pictures there. Yeah, we went a little crazy. Our location after that was La Push Beach, which is where the ceremony was going to be held. We didn't get to take pictures in the water because we didn't want to mess up our dresses before the ceremony, so only like 200 pictures were taken. Then everyone started to get to the beach because it was now 12 o'clock and the ceremony started at 12:30. The ceremony went by smoothly. Then afterwards we took pictures with all the family and anyone else that wanted a picture. Then they all left for the banquet hall and we got to take our second round of beach pictures, and we were allowed to get in the water because we all had to change either way. We all then went to Bella's house to change into our red dresses, with the exception of Rachel, who changed into her second wedding dress, which was a PNINA Tournai elegant princess ball gown. Yeah, I know everyone thinks the second gown should be the easy to walk in party dress, but because her first dress was more simple because the ceremony was at the beach, her second dress was all out princess gown. Then the braids maids changed our makeup from natural beach kind of look to a black and red smoky eye, and Rachel went for natural but with some sparkle for the reception. An hour later we were all entering the reception hall, and let me tell you, it looked perfect. The crystal chandeliers were hung up perfectly, the tables looked amazing with crystal center pieces and the rose petals and the beautiful design that the tablecloths had, it was perfect. The classical music orchestra was playing and the DJ was setting up for later. The food looked great, the chocolate fountain had all the little kids mesmerized and the place was packed with all of Rachel and Paul's friends and family. Alice, this is wow, Paul said. It's perfect, Alice, and I think I speak for both of us when I say thank you, and we couldn't have accomplished any of this without you. Rachel said. You're welcomes, now go have fun and enjoy your wedding. I said, hugging them. Everything in the wedding was going great. I was having a great time seeing everyone after so much time. I saw Emily and Sam's twin boys. They were now a little over a year and could stand on their own and say little words like mama and bottle. They were so cute. Then it was my turn to make a toast. Hey everyone, I would like to make a toast to the bride and groom. I have known Rachel and Paul for 3 years, and I have to say that at first I didn't like Paul at all and I thought Rachel was crazy for dating him, but as time went by I learned to love Paul and Rachel equally, and I couldn't be happier to say that I was wrong and that Paul and Rachel are perfect for each other. So toast to the bride and groom. I said, raising my glass. Jacob, Billy, Bella and etc. did their own toast congratulating the happy couple. Then it was their turn. Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone for coming to my wedding. I would really like to thank Alice Cullen for helping me make my dream wedding come true. You were the one that is responsible for making this day perfect for me and Paul, and I thank you so much, she said. Yes, Alice, you have been an amazing friend and wedding planner. I mean, I would have never been able to do what you have accomplished today. You spent God knows how many hours planning and making this day perfect for Rachel that I don't know how I can ever repay you, he said. Thanks you guys, I love you both, so it was no problem planning your wedding, and in case you haven't figured it out yet, I live for panning and designing, and if you want to repay me, have fun today and go off on your honeymoon to Paris and make some beautiful babies, because Mason, Jason and Belle are old already and I can't spoil them as much as I would like. I said, laughing, and the triplets said, hey, while everyone else laughed but agreed with me that they wanted babies. The rest of the party was fun and crazy. Rachel and Paul went off on their honeymoon while the rest of us partied all weekend. Rosalie's paw. Did that really just happen? Edward asked us, still in shock at the news that he was a father. Yeah, it did, son, Carlisle said. After a couple minutes the shock wore off, so I went up to Edward and slapped him. Rosalie, what was that for? Edward saw it, a little mad but also shocked. That was for being such an idiot. How the hell can you be a dad and not know about it for 3 years? I screamed at him. I didn't think it was possible to reproduce, plus it was only one time, he said. It only takes one time, you idiot. How can you have been so careless and irresponsible and not use protection? I said, well, more like screamed at him. Yeah dude, come on, even 13-year-olds know you have to use protection. Emmett said, I'm sorry, I wasn't really thinking when I did it, plus Carlisle said we couldn't reproduce because our bodies don't change, he said. Edward is right, I did say that, but no vampire has ever had a physical relationship with a human, and the ones that try end up killing the human. Carlisle said, I don't know about you guys, but I'm so happy that I have grandbabies. Esme said, yeah, who wouldn't be, but I just wish that I had been able to watch them grow up like Alice did. I said, yeah, me too, Esme said. Edward, how the hell did you not know if Alice knew? Jasper asked. She never thought about them when I was around, and she has gotten better at blocking me as the years have passed. Anyway, shouldn't I be asking you that she is your mate? How can you not have known she was lying? He said, and Jasper just shrugged. I still can't believe I'm the father of 3 beautiful kids, if you can even call them kids. They look as old as us. Edward saw it. Well, believe it, Edward, because you do have those 3 kids who, by the way, grew up with the Volturi. I said, I never would have thought that Arrow would let Bella live, let alone help her raise 3 kids. Let's not forget that Jacob was also with her these years, which can only mean that he is part of the Volturi along with Bella and the kids, Carlisle said. I wonder why he did it. I said, well, there is only one way to find out, Carlisle said. I don't think we should call Arrow Carlisle. I just got threatened by his guard. I don't really want to know what he has to say to me. What if he wants me dead because of what I did? Edward saw it, sounding scared. I don't think he would do that, Edward, Carlisle said. But let's get back to the Jacob subject, Jasper said. Yeah, why the hell would Arrow allow a mutt to live with them and make him a guard? And judging by the pick black cloak that they all wore, he's ranking the same as Alec, Jane, Felix and Dimitri. I said. That's true, and did you see the kids and Bella were also wearing the same color cloak? Jasper said. Yeah, I did, but I thought that they all wore the same color cloak, so I didn't really think about it. Esme said. No, Esme, the color of the cloak that a Volturi guard wears is really important because it tells you how powerful and dangerous they are. It also tells you how valuable they are to Arrow. Carlisle said. Oh, I didn't know that. Esme replied. The guards that wear the color cloak that all of them were wearing today are the most important, gifted and dangerous guard members that Arrow has. Carlisle said. Wow, so does that mean that our little Bella and our niece and nephews are dangerous? Emmett asked. Yeah, it seems like it, Carlisle said. Cool, our Bella is now badass. Emmett said. Yeah, it also means that she can probably kick your ass, Emmett, I said, joking around with him. Shut up, he said, and I just laughed. Edward's paw. I can't believe I'm a father. Bella's paw. The last couple of days have been crazy and I have been using that to my advantage. How, you may wonder. Well, I've been using everything as a distraction to not think about Edward and his family and all the things that still have to be explained, like the kids' powers, and let's not forget Belle's relationship with Jacob. I don't even know how I'm going to start that conversation. Edward is going to want to kill Jacob just like I did, especially when he finds out about the talk Jake and I had yesterday. Right now I'm at home waiting for the kids to finish getting ready so that we can all go down to La Push for the bonfire. Time skip bonfire. Belle's paw. I'm here at the bonfire with my family and all the pack except Paul and Rachel because they are all still on their honeymoon. Belle, will you come with me for a second? Jacob asked. Sure, let's go, I said. We walked along the beach for a bit, then all of a sudden we reach this huge cliff and can't go any further. That when Jake turns around. Do you trust me? He asks. Yes, I say, so he leads me to the top of the cliff. It's really high up, but I trust Jake. He looks me in the eyes, then wraps me in his arms, then he jumps so fast that I don't notice till we are already halfway to the water. When we hit the water, it's surprisingly warm and not ice cold like I thought. I open my eyes when we are above the water. Come, I want to show you something. Jake says. I nod and we dive under and we start swimming and I see pretty fish, and then Jake leads me to this hole that seems to be on the side of the cliff. The water seems to be getting clearer the farther in we get. When we hit the surface, I see that this is actually a cave, an underwater cave, and it has been decorated with white candles, white rose petals and tiki torches. I look at Jacob and he just smiles and helps me out of the water. You might be wondering what all this is, Jake says, and I nod. Well, all of this is for you, Belle. I have known you since the day you were born, and that day when I looked into your eyes I knew you were the one. Once I saw you I knew that I could never leave you. These last 3 years I have been your brother, your protector, your best friend, and now I'm your boyfriend, and I think it's time we took the last and final step in our relationship. Jacob got down on one knee and said, Renesmee Rosilis Annabelle Cullen, will you do me the honor of becoming my wife? OMG, I can't believe this is happening. Jacob's paw. I had just asked Belle to marry me and she just stared at me. She didn't say anything and I am really starting to freak out. Belle, I said, and that seemed to bring her out of her shock. Belle's paw. I jumped on Jacob and started kissing him while repeating, yes. I'm so happy I can't even explain it. So you agree to being my wife? Jake asks with a smile. Of course I do. Did you actually think I was going to say no? I said. I was 99.999% sure you were going to say yes, but then you didn't say anything for what seemed like forever and I started getting worried. He said. I would never say no to you. I love you too much. I said. I love you too, but we have to get back before everyone starts to worry. But before we leave I still have to give you your engagement ring, he said. Oh my God, Jacob, it's beautiful, I said while in awe of the most perfect ring ever. It had a huge diamond in the middle, then on either side it had two still big but smaller diamonds, then the band was silver but it had smaller diamonds in it, and inside of the wedding band it said, to my love. I'm glad you like it, but we really have to go, he said while kissing me. We dove into the water, then walked back to the bonfire with the rest of the family and pack. When we got there everyone was staring at us. But no one would say anything. Sue, Mom asked. Sue, what, Mom? I said. Don't act dumb. What did you say? She said, and everyone seemed to be waiting for my answer. I said, no Mom, I'm not ready to get married. I'm too young. There is still I want to do before I settle down. I said, and they all seemed shocked and disappointed until Felix saw the ring. So Belle, if you said no, why are you wearing that huge rock on your finger? He said, OMG, I knew it, congratulations honey. Mom said while giving me a hug. After that everyone else congratulated and hugged me and Jake. Time skip the Cullens. Bella's pav. Today the kids Jake, Felix, Dimitri, Jane, Alec and I are going to the Cullens' house to explain things further because last time we dropped the I'm alive you have kids bomb, then ran off to go shopping for the wedding. When we got there, Carlisle opened the door and led us all to the living room where the rest of the Cullens were gathered. Alice automatically came over to us and hugged and greeted us. Then she suddenly stops and stares at Belle, well more her hand and her huge engagement ring. OMG, she says and hugs her, then turns to Jake. You finally manned up and asked. Good for you, she said while giving him a hug as well. Would anyone mind telling us what is going on? Rosalie asked, annoyed. Well, Belle got engaged yesterday, I said, and everyone's jaws dropped and their eyes looked like they were going to pop out of their heads. To who? Carlisle asked him, being to only one out of their momentarily shock. To Jake, duh, Alice said. Edward's pav. Well, Belle got engaged yesterday, Bella said, and I alongside my family went into shock. I mean, come on, I found out I was a father a couple of days ago and now she is getting married, let's not forget she is 3. To who? Carlisle asked because he was the only one with a voice. To Jake, duh, Alice said, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. What? You're kidding, right? I said, outraged at what she had said. How the hell is my little girl going to be marrying a wolf, a dog? No, she isn't kidding, Edward. Belle is going to marry Jacob. Bella said. How did you allow this to happen, Bella? He is a wolf, he is almost 2 decades older than her. I said, well, more like screamed. He is our enemy, how can you even stand to be near him? Rosalie said, coming out of her shock. And no offense dude, but you stink, Emmett said. Alice's pav. I was so happy about Belle and Jacob's engagement and I wanted to celebrate, but Edward started going crazy with the news. Well, not only him, everyone in the family started going crazy. He started screaming and then everyone was screaming, and what should have been a happy moment turned into a nightmare. Belle started to cry and Jake was trying to calm her down while Carlisle was trying to calm Edward down a little, but he didn't calm down at all. Edward and Bella just kept screaming at each other. Then, to make it even worse, Rose decided to join in the argument and scream at Jacob. You are perv. How can you go after a poor innocent little girl? She said. You don't know anything, Blondie, he said. I know, you are a disgusting perverted dog. She said. You could tell Jacob was getting mad, but he had Belle to worry about and she was still crying in his arms. Rose didn't seem to care though and kept yelling at him until Jane stepped in and started to use her power on Rosalie. You know, Rosalie, if I were you I would shout up and mind my own business, Jane said in a calm voice. Rosalie on the floor screaming her head off was what finally shut everyone up. Belle stopped crying and let go of Jacob and went to Jane. Jane, I think that's enough. I appreciate your help, but could you please stop? Belle said to her. Jane did just that, then looked at Belle in the eyes and said, honey, you are a beautiful young woman who deserves to be happy with the man you love, so don't let these people tell you who to love or how to live your life, Jane said to Belle, and Belle just nodded and gave her a tight hug. Everyone else was really quiet. You could actually hear the clock ticking. Rose was in Emmett's arms and Esme was in Carlisle's. Jasper was just staring, holding his head, obviously struggling with all the emotions in the room. Thanks, Jane. Jacob while wrapping his arms around Belle. You're welcome, but don't forget I can and will do that to you if you ever hurt Belle, she said, joking. Yeah, I know, he said while smiling at her. Despite what a lot of people think, Jane and Jake were really close. They were like brother and sister and they cared a lot for each other. Guys, I know this all seems crazy, but you guys just don't understand it like we do, I said to my family. I can admit that we overreacted, but can we all just sit down and calmly talk about this? Carlisle said. That's what we came here to do, Doc, but your family started acting like wild animals when they heard about our little Belle getting engaged to Jake, Dimitri said. I know, and I apologize on behalf of my family. We were all just shocked, Carlisle replied. Yeah, well, next time I would suggest you keep your family in check, because what I did to the dumb blonde is nothing to what I could do, Jane said. Like I said, I am very sorry for my family's behavior. I promise we will all behave, he said. They better, because I have been wanting a new punching bag and I think the big one with the blonde would be perfect, Felix said, smirking at Emmett, and Emmett looked like he was about to shit his pants. Okay Felix, that's enough. I think you just made Emmett pee his pants, I said while laughing a little, and my family just stared at me like I was crazy. Come on Shorty, that was so much fun, why you got to ruin it? Felix said. Just leave them alone, don't force me to kick your ass, I said, and Felix lost his smirk, and I just laughed along with the rest of the Volturi because they knew that I can and have beaten Felix in a fight. Now I was the one smirking at him. Fine, Felix said, mad. Now that that is handled, how about we have that talk? I said. Time skipped to after the explanations of the imprint. Belle's paw. Getting the Cullens to understand my relationship with Jake was hard, but after hours of explaining they still weren't 100% sure that I should be with Jake, but they knew that they couldn't do anything about it. To tell you the truth, I honestly didn't care anymore. It was my life and I have the right to live it the way that I want, not the way they want. Mom, I have to go. I promised Leah and Emily we would go shopping with them, I said. OMG, shopping, can I come? Alice said. Yeah, I'm sure they would love to see you again, and no one can shop better than you, Aunt Alice, I said. Okay Belle, Jane and I will meet you guys at the mall in a bit, Mom said. We also have to be going, Mom. We told the pack that we would be meeting them today so that we could go cliff diving. Jason said. What, you can't go cliff diving? Mom said. Why can't we go? Belle went cliff diving with Jake yesterday, Jason said, and I glared at him because Mom didn't know that. You did, Mom said, looking at me. Jake made me, I said, pointing and blaming everything on Jake. I mean, what good is having a fiance if I can't blame him for stuff, right? What, you took her diving without my permission? Mom said, glaring at Jacob. Sorry Bells, but it was part of my proposal plan, he said. Yeah, whatever, she said to him, then turned to my brothers. You can go cliff diving, it's only fair, but you better not come back home to me all broken. Oh, and Jacob, since this is your fault, you are in charge, and there better not be one bruise, scratch or broken bone when I next see you, or I will kick our ass, Mom said. Don't worry Bells, I will take care of them, Jake said. Not that I don't trust you, but Felix, Alec, Dimitri, you have my permission to kick Jacob's ass if he gets my babies even a little hurt, you know, for anything that will probably heal before I see them, she said. Jacob's jaw dropped and Felix, Alec and Dimitri just smiled at Jacob. Don't worry Jake, we'll go easy on you, Alex said, teasing him. Okay, well, we really have to go, so bye Mom, love you, I said to my mom and all the guys. Alice and I left. Bella's paw. Well, now that the kids aren't around, I said, then I went up and slapped Edward and Rosalie. What was that for? Edward saw it and Rosalie yelled at me. That was for making my daughter cry, I said. Then Jane got her own revenge on Edward and used her power on him. You hurt Belle, so I hurt you, as simple as that, Jane said while smiling at him. Edward then got up from the floor and sat on the sofa with the rest of his family. Rosalie was glaring at me. What, Rosalie, you want to say something, say it, I said. I just can't believe how much you have changed, she said. I haven't changed that much, I'm a little more confident. Well, I never thought you would change so much that you could just stand there and watch Jane hurt Edward. Me, I understand, but Edward, the supposed love of your life, she said. Rosalie, believe it or not, it does hurt me to watch Edward in pain, but what hurts more is to watch my daughter cry her eyes out just for being happy with the love of her life. You will never understand the love a mother has for her child, Rosalie, but let me tell you, it is a love greater than the love that you have for anything, even your mate. I know reminding Rosalie that she can't have kids was a low blow, but at the time I didn't care. I know I will never understand, but what I do know is that I really want to get to know my niece and nephew, so I'm asking you to give myself and my family permission to get to know them, she said. They are your family as well, so I can never deny you to see them, but after today I'm not sure Belle will be all that willing, and her brothers are really protective of her, so I'm not sure, but I think Mason will probably be the easiest to convince, so we'll start there. I make no promises, I said. Bella, we really need to go meet the girls at the mall, Jane said. Okay, let's go. We'll see you later, I said to Jane. Then the Cullens. Emmett paw. That was crazy. Bella just slapped Edward and she let Jane torture him. Shit, what happened to our sweet, fragile, innocent, can't hurt a fly Bella? She has definitely changed now. She has 3 kids, she is part of the most feared vampire coven, the Volturi, and let's not forget, she is best friends with the most dangerous vampires there is. She is not the same girl we once knew, but she is still my little sister and I love her just the same. Time skip 2 weeks later. Bella's paw. Ever since the day the Cullens found out about Belle and reacted the way they did, none of the kids have wanted to see or even talk to any of the Cullens apart from Alice. I know I want my kids to know their family, but I can't force them to interact with them. That would just make them hate me. I honestly don't know what to do. Bella. I heard Alice screaming from the first floor. What? I scream back. Come down, I have to talk to you. She said, so I went down the stairs. What's going on, Alice? I said. I saw this beautiful dress at the mall and you have to try it on. She said, but she was giving me the don't ask, just go along with it look, so I just followed her out the door to her car. When we were at least 5 miles away from the house, she pulled the car over and looked at me. Bella, the family really want to get to know the kids, especially Edward, she said. I know, Alice, but they don't want to, you know that, I said. Yeah, I know, but come on, we have to do something. Ooh, I know. Can Jasper come over? She said. Yeah, he can, but what exactly do you have in mind? I asked. Well, I think that it's time for the boys to get to know their Uncle Jasper while doing the thing they know how to do best, and if I remember correctly, he didn't say anything about Belle's engagement, so there is no reason why they should be mad at him, she said. That actually sounds like it could work, but you know that Alec, Felix, Dimitri and Jacob are going to want to join, and that's 6 against 1. Do you think he can handle it? I said. Bella, you underestimate Jasper, she said. Time skip to the Cullens' house. Jasper's paw. Jasper, come downstairs, we have to go, I heard Alice yell. Alice, where are we going? I asked. We are going to La Push, she said. Alice, you know I'm not allowed over there. I would break the treaty if I went, not to mention the wolves would probably kill me. I said. Calm down, Jazz, I already asked Sam if you could go and he said it was fine, she said. I don't know, Alice, I said, still worried. Come on, they are having a bonfire tonight, and don't you want to get to know Mason and Jason? They have actually agreed to talk to you, isn't that great? She said. They did. I was kind of shocked because they haven't let any of us near them since the announcement of Belle and Jacob's wedding. Why would they agree to talk to me and not Edward? He is their father. Earth to Jasper, Alice said, waving her hand in front of my face. I guess I zoned out. Yeah, sorry, I was just wondering why they want to talk to me instead of their father. I said to her. Jazz, trust me, you will understand why when we get there, and I put a lot of work into this, so please don't make me drag you out of the house, she said. Okay then, let's go, I said, and followed her out the door. I know that everyone was listening to our conversation, and I could feel their jealousy over me getting to spend some time with the kids. I know Edward would do anything to be in my place right now, but there is nothing I can do about it, plus I'm also excited about spending some time with them. We just got to the beach and I can see the Volturi, Bella and the kids already there. Come on, Jasper, I promise they won't bite, Alice said, getting out of the car. When they saw us, they all stopped what they were doing and turned to look at us, more like they glared at me while they greeted Alice. Guys, be nice, Bella said. Hey Jasper, I'm so glad you came, she then said to me while giving me a hug, which I was not expecting at all because we're never close and I did try to kill her on her birthday. Hey Bella, I'm glad I was invited, I said while hugging her back. Then Jason came up to me and said, hope you're ready. Ready for what? I asked. You don't know, he asked, and I said no. He then turned to his brother and said, he doesn't know, this should be fun. Now I was freaking out. What had Alice gotten me into? Don't worry Jasper, this is going to be fun, Dimitri said while leading me away from the girls and closer to the shoreline. Well, at least for us, he said while leaving my side, then giving Mason and Jason a nod. I was going to stop there, but I haven't updated in a long time, so I decided to continue. Jason and Mason started walking towards me, then they suddenly stopped, looked at each other, and then there wasn't just 2 of them, there was 4, then 6, then 8, then 10, 5 of each. They were surrounding me in a type of half circle, then all of them looked at each other, smiled, then put their hands palms up, and a blue ball of flame came up. Before I could react, they all threw their fireballs at me. Shit, I'm dead, I thought, and closed my eyes and said, I love you, Alice. I waited for the burning to start, but it never did, so I slowly opened my eyes and everyone around me started to laugh uncontrollably. Alice then came up to me and kissed me. Sorry Jazz, it was their idea, plus that was just so funny, she said as best she could while still laughing. What just happened? I asked, still in shock. Well, Uncle Jasper, we thought this would be a fun way to welcome you into the family, Jason said. Well, thanks for the lovely welcome, I said sarcastically. You're welcome, Mason and Jason said together. So any other surprises I should look forward to? I asked. No, not really, but you should know that the pack will be joining us in about an hour for our bonfire. Jacob said. Are they going to try and kill me like these two? I asked. I don't think so, but I guess we will find out when they get here, he said. Let's hope I survive then. So what are we going to be doing while we wait for them? I asked. We actually wanted to have a training session. We haven't had one since we got here. Felix said. I guess that's fine, I'll wait for you guys to finish then we can talk. I said. I think you misunderstood us, Uncle Jasper. We want you to train with us and show us how you used to train the newborns when you were part of the war. Mason said. Are you guys sure? I could just wait with Alice while you guys train. You don't have to include me in your session if you don't want to. I said. It's fine, Uncle Jasper. We have actually wanted to train and go up against you in fight for quite some time, and it's funny that you think that Aunt Alice is going to sit around while we train. Jason said. Yeah, Uncle Jasper, Aunt Alice is an awesome fighter and she uses any chase she gets to kick our asses. Mason said. We spent hours training, and when the pack got there they joined in as well, and I have to tell you it was a crazy but awesome experience to fight with such well-trained fighters. I had a lot of fun training with them and then training them in the ways of the newborns. They all were really nice and accepting. I didn't feel awkward or like the odd man out, and that made me really happy. It was late and it started to get dark, so the guys lighted the fire, and I had never seen a fire like that. They had put the logs in and Jason lit it with a blue fireball, and I was expecting it to turn red, orange, yellow, you know, the normal colors, but it didn't. It stayed blue and it had a bit of green in it. It was just amazing to look at. Beautiful, isn't it? Belle asked while coming to sit next to me. Yes, it is. Belle, I have been wanting to apologize to you about what happened at the house 2 weeks ago, I said. It's fine, Uncle Jasper. I know it's hard to understand, and I don't think Alice screaming out that I was engaged helped much either, so it's honestly fine, she said. I agree that it was a lot to take in, but my family shouldn't have acted like that either way. So I want to apologize to both you and Jacob about that. I said. Thanks for apologizing, but like I said before, it's not necessary, she said while smiling. I would also like to congratulate you on your engagement. Yes, I agree you were a little young and you are marrying a wolf, but a marriage is something to be happy about, and I'm sorry if my family and myself made it seem otherwise. I said to her, and she started to tear up. Then she hugged me. Thanks, Uncle Jasper. You don't know what your approval means to me, she said while whipping her tears. By this time everyone was gathered around the bonfire and they were staring at us. So I decided to let everyone in. Well, let everyone that didn't have supper hearing in. So I stood up and said. 3 years ago my family decided to leave Bella here in Forks because of a mistake I made. It was really hard for us to leave her, but we left to protect her, and none of us knew that Bella was pregnant, and only a couple weeks ago my family apart from Alice finds out that Bella is alive and has 3 kids, and that those 3 kids are my brother's kids. We couldn't believe it. It was a miracle that none of us expected. We obviously wanted to get to know them, but when we found out about Jake and Belle getting married, everyone in my house went crazy. She in our eyes was too young, and she marrying a wolf, our mortal enemy. So again we were separated from them, and today my niece and nephews decided to give me a chance, and I have never been more grateful. Yes, they almost did kill me when I got here, but after that you all made me feel welcome and not awkward at all. You all in some way have been able to accept me even after everything that has happened, so I would just like to say thank you, and I would also like to congratulate to Belle and Jacob on their engagement. When I finished my little speech, Bella came up to me and hugged me. Jasper, I never blamed you for what happened, so don't feel guilty. It was hard in the beginning, but I have a great life and family, so don't feel bad for things that happened in the past, she said. Thanks, Bella, I said. I know it means a lot to Belle to have your approval, so thanks. Jacob said. No problem, I said. We were finally driving back home after this very long day, and I couldn't have been happier with the outcome of today. Edward's paw. I silently watched as Alice and Jasper left the house to go get together with my kids and my Bella. I can't believe they are letting Jasper in and not me. I'm their father, not him. I know I messed up, but I don't want to lose them because of a mistake I did 3 years ago. Alice's paw. Sue, Jasper, what did you think? I asked. About what, Alice? He replied, acting dumb. What did you think about your nephews and your niece? I said. Oh, that they are amazing, Alice. I can't believe we all went 3 years without knowing them. We missed seeing them growing up, Alice, and I know that's killing Edward, he said. They are amazing. We have been wrapped around their little fingers since they were born. I know not seeing them grow up is hurting Edward, but we can't do anything about it. He did this to himself. I said, are they ever going to let Edward know them? Jasper asked. I think they are, but they're not ready to do that yet. They gave you a chance today and I'm glad that you didn't mess it up because I hate being away from you so much. I said while kissing him. Jasper's paw. When we got home everyone was waiting for us in the living room. Hey guys, what's up? I said. They didn't reply, they just kept staring at us. How did it go today? Were you able to get to know the kids, Jasper? Carlisle asked. Yeah, I did, and they are amazing people. I can't believe we spent so much time not knowing them. I said. What about the Volturi? Did they try to kill you? Emmett asked, all excited. I almost did get killed, but not by the Volturi. Well, the boys are part of the Volturi, so then yeah, I did almost get killed by the Volturi. I said. What do you mean? He asked, confused at what Jasper was talking about. I mean that when I got there, Mason and Jason played a prank on me and almost made me into a pile of ash. I said that, and Alice hit me and glared at me. Hey, it's true, I said to her. You know they were just kidding. She said, yeah, I know, I said, kissing her. You were almost killed by our nephew. That is awesome. How did they do it? Emmett said, all excited. They surrounded me with 5 of each of them in like a half-circle kind of thing. Then they threw blue fireballs at me, I said. What do you mean they surrounded you with 5 of each of them? Carlisle asked. Oops, I forgot to tell you that the triplets have powers, and very powerful ones too. Alice said. Dude, your kids sound awesome, Emmett said to Edward. Yeah, they are awesome, and Jasper only saw Mason and Jason today do the dividing and fire thing. They still have more powers, and he didn't see Belle do anything, so you guys are still in for a surprise. Alice said. Wait, they have more powers? Having 2 is already unheard of, Carlisle said. Yeah, they do. I can't wait for you guys to see them. Jasper only saw part of them today because the boys really wanted to play that prank on him. Alice said. Yeah, you can tell they are related to Emmett, I said. Alice, will you tell us what the kids' powers are? Carlisle asked, hopeful. No way, I am not going to ruin the surprise. You should have seen Jasper's face when he saw them. It was priceless. I wish I had taken a picture. Wait, I did. You guys want to see it? Alice said. The rest of the night Alice and I spent it telling the family what we had done with the kids. Time skip. 2 days later. Jason's paw. It has been a couple days that I haven't played a prank on anybody, well, except Jasper, but that was more of a group prank because we all played a part in that prank one way or the other, and I'm so bored I need something to do, so what better time than the present to play pranks on our biological father's family. Uncle Jasper and Aunt Alice are always saying how I remind them of Emmett because in their house he is the prankster. So I think it's time to make a call. Hey Shorty, what's up? Emmett answered the phone thinking I was Aunt Alice because I had taken one of her many cell phones. Emmett, it's Jason, I said. Jason, oh Jason, what's up? Why are you calling me? I thought you hated us, he said. I don't hate you, well, not as much as I did 2 weeks ago, plus I need your help. I said. Well, if it helps me get on you guys' good side, what do you need? He said. Meet me in an hour at the diner, was all I said. Okay, see you there, he said. I was at the diner eating some fries when Uncle Emmett walked in and I waved him over. I finally get to meet you properly, Jason, he said while sitting down. Yeah, I guess so. It's nice to meet you, Uncle Emmett. So here's the deal, I'm bored, so I decided I want to play some pranks. I said. Yeah, I heard you were a prankster like me, but where do I fit into your plans? He said. Well, I love to play pranks on people, but I have played pranks on my family hundreds of times, so it's no fun, so this time my target is your family. I said. He looked at me, smiled, then said, I'm in. What do you want to do? We sat for about an hour and discussed all of the details of the pranks, then agreed to meet up tomorrow morning at his house so that we can set up everything while the rest of his family is out hunting. I can't wait for tomorrow. Jason's paw. I'm on my way to the Cullens' house to meet up with Emmett so that we can pull some pranks on his family. Well, I guess they are my family too, but I don't really want to think about that. Hey Jason, are you ready to do this? Emmett asked when I got off the car. Yeah, I'm ready. I can't wait to see aloof their faces. Let's go then. Who do you want to start with? Let's start with Edward. We started with Edward, then continued with Jasper, Alice, and last Rosalie. We had both decided not to do anything to Renesmee and Carlisle because we both had a lot of respect for them and they were like his parents, so we didn't want to get in that much trouble. Everything was set, so now all we had to do was wait and see the finished result. Emmett and I were playing video games when I heard the rest of his family coming, so I excused myself to go to the bathroom and I snuck out the back door. Emmett's paw. "Hey guys," I said to my family when they walked in without taking my eyes off from the TV screen. A couple of minutes had passed when I heard Alice scream, which was followed by Jasper cursing. This was so funny it was hard for me not to laugh. Then Rosalie screamed my name and all the humor in this went away. Shit, I'm in trouble. The three of them came downstairs screaming things that you don't even want to know about. Shit, where the hell is Jason? Emmett, why would you do that to my shoes and then you destroy my credit card so I can't even replace them all? Alice screamed. You destroyed my favorite war books and my uniform. What the asterisk. Emmett, you know how important these things are to me, Jasper said as calmly as possible. Why would you do this to me, Emmett? Rosalie said, gesturing to her chocolate feather-covered self. I couldn't keep myself from laughing at that one. She looked ridiculous. Emmett, stop laughing and explain yourself right now, Esme said. It wasn't me, I said as convincingly as possible. Really? Then if it wasn't you, who was it? But the better question is, why did you prank us and not Edward? Jasper asked. Then I remembered that Edward hadn't seen his car yet. What did you do to my car, Emmett? Edward saw it as he ran to the garage. Then he saw his pink paint-covered car with a huge pentacle star symbol on the hood of the car. I had no idea why Jason drew that on there. All hell broke loose after Edward saw his car. He tackled me to the ground and then Jasper joined the fight while Rosalie and Alice were cheering them on. Carlisle and Esme were just quietly watching, not telling them anything. After about 20 minutes Carlisle broke up the fight and took us all to the living room. You all need to behave yourselves and remember that fights doesn't solve anything, it just makes things worse, Carlisle said. And Edward, Jasper and I just looked down. After a long lecture from Carlisle on how disappointed he was in me and me agreeing to clean the mess up and paying for Alice's shoes, Alice stood up. Okay, I think that is enough punishment for Emmett. Now Jason, you better get your ass over here. Alice screamed and I was confused. How the hell did she know? I thought she couldn't see him. Jason, she screamed again while we all looked at her like she was an alien. Then Jason suddenly appeared right in front of us. Cool. Hey Aunt Alice, Jason said all quietly. Don't hey Aunt Alice me. What did I tell you about these pranks you like to pull on people? Never touch your shoes, he said. Exactly, and what did you do? I touched your shoes, he said looking down. What's going on? Esme asked. Well, Esme, Emmett wasn't the only one involved in today's pranks, she said. How do you know that? Esme asked. I have known Jason since birth, so I know his signature, Alice said. What does that mean? I asked her. Do you guys remember the pentacle that was drawn on Edward's car? She asked and we nodded. Well, that is Jason's signature, it's his thing, he puts it everywhere. Alice explained. So if it's your signature and you were planning on me getting blamed for everything, why did you put it if you knew Alice was going to recognize it? I asked Jason. Well, I wanted to have some fun, so I did the pranks with you and left the symbol knowing that Aunt Alice would recognize it, but like the awesome aunt I know she is, she wasn't going to turn me in until after I had my fun. He said. You didn't answer my question. Well, I always take responsibility for the things that I do. I don't like to let other people take the blame for things that I do. He said. Oh, well Jason, you know the punishment for ruining my shoes, Alice said. I do, but, he said and got a bag that he had left in the closet. I didn't ruin your shoes this time, he said, showing her all the shoes that were supposedly ruined. But I saw my shoes, Alice said. Those were cheap knockoffs. So, and Jasper, here is your stuff. I would never mess with things that are that important to someone like I know your uniform is to you. Rosalie, there is nothing I can give you, only a piece of advice. Go take a shower, and Edward, the paint is washable and won't do any damage to your car. Jason said, wow, he is more mature than I thought he was. And that is why I let you have your fun and prank people, because in the end you never really do any damage cause all your pranks are well thought out. Alice said while going to hug Jason. I love you, honey, she said to him. I love you too, he replied while hugging her back. Come on Emmett, we have a car to was, he said while heading to the wash the car. He said goodbye and then went home. Alice then came up to me. So what do you think of Jason now that you know him a little better? She asked. I really like him, he is funny, smart and very mature for his age. He may even be more mature than me. Bella's paw. Today is Thanksgiving. The kid's 4th birthday had just passed and it had been so awkward with the kids still not okay with all the Cullens. Alice and Jane usually make a big deal about the kid's birthday and throw a huge party in Volturi with everyone that we know, but this year we aren't there and I just found out that the party was just postponed till December, so that means we will be leaving after today and I really don't know how to tell the Cullens. Time skip Thanksgiving dinner. Alice's paw. I'm so excited. Today will be the first time the kids will spend Thanksgiving with us, as it has been cooking all day making pies and the turkey stuffing, you know, all the traditional Thanksgiving food, and the kids just got here. Hey guys, happy Thanksgiving, I said to the kids. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Aunt Alice, they said while giving me a hug. It smells really good in here, Esme. Jason said. Ooh, I smell pumpkin pie. Mason said. Can we eat? I'm hungry. Jacob said. Yes, let's go. Esme said. Who wants to say grace? Bella said. I'll say it, Mom. Belle said. We thank you, God, for everything you have done for us this year, for the food on our plates and for the good health of our. Now let's dig in, guys, she said. The kids and Jacob loved the food and Jacob stuffed his face and ate way more than usual, and now we were all just talking around the table. You guys, now that we are all just talking, let's talk about you guys' party next week. What party? I didn't know we were throwing a party, Alice. Rosalie said. Oh, you're not. Our family back home is. Jason said. You mean the Volturi, don't you? Edward asked, and they all just nodded. When do you leave? He asked. We leave tomorrow first thing in the morning. Bella said. Okay, he said. But it's not like you won't see us again. You will see us next week at the party, that's if you go. You are coming, right? Belle asked Edward. Of course, where's going? I wouldn't miss an opportunity at spending some time with all of you, he said. It's great that you are going. That way you can meet Grandpa Arrow, Uncle Marcus, and let's not forget our favorite Uncle Keys. Jason said, and Edward's eyes went wide and we all started laughing at him. Alice's paw. The day is finally here and today is the triplets' party. I'm so excited to have this party because this is the first year that I will be making their party outside in the gardens. The gardens have always been one of my favorite places in the Volturi, and this year we finally get to have the party outside. Why, you may ask? Well, before it had never gone with the theme, but this year, since the party is in December, we are having a winter wonderland party. It's going to be amazing, and the best part about this is that my family is going to be coming. I can't wait till they get here. I came a couple days earlier because I had to set everything up, but they are going to be here in about 4 hours and I still have a lot of things to do. Jacob, I screamed. What do you want, Pixie? Jacob asked. I need you, I started to say, but he interrupted me. You need me and the guys to keep the monsters occupied until you are done and ready for the party, because you don't want to surprise them. I know what I have to do. You make me do it every year, and this year the guys and I are actually prepared, he said. Wow, okay, what are you guys going to do? I asked. We are all going to take the 4-wheelers to this new place Alec found the other day, he said. That is a great idea, but I don't want them to come to the party all dirty and sweaty, I said. Don't worry so much, Pix, we got it all planned out. They will be here on time and ready, he assured me. Well, now that is solved, I think it is time to get to work finishing my masterpiece. Bella, Heidi, Jane, get your asses down. We have a lot of work to do. Jane's paw. Unfortunately, since everyone was busy, it was my job to get the Cullens from the airport. The only good thing was that the pack was also arriving on the Volturi jet around the same time, so I was picking them up as well, and I actually liked the pack, especially Leah. She had become a really good friend along with Emily, Rachel, Kim and Claire. The guys are cool too. I love to train and fight with them. They are really good fighters, and I know that if I wanted to give Edward a hard time, they would be the perfect allies. The limo driver just pulled into the airport. The Cullens are waiting outside. That's good, at least I don't have to look for them. When I got out of the limo and approached them, I could see the look of fear come on their face. I love that look, especially on Edward. Hello, Jane, Carlisle said. Hello, Carlisle, and welcome to Volturi, I said and motioned for them to follow me to the limo. When we were all seated, I told the driver to take us to the Volturi jet, and I could see the confused faces of the Cullens, but they didn't ask and I didn't bother to tell them where we were going. We got to where the Volturi jet was going to land and waited. I knew this was going to take a while, so I took out my iPhone and started to text Alec just to make sure that they were on schedule and that they wouldn't be late to the party. After about 20 minutes the jet landed. The pack and their imprints started to get off and I got out of the limo to meet them. I immediately found Leah and hugged her. Then I saw Emily, Rochelle, Kim and Claire, and I went to hug them. Then I felt myself being picked up from behind. Paul put me down. I yelled, but he obviously didn't. All he did was laugh, so I did what I was known for. I used my power on him, not full on but enough so that he would put me down. Now he was the one screaming at me to stop, and I was the one laughing along with everyone else. I stopped using my power and Rochelle went up to him. "Honey, you never learn, do you?" she said while kissing his cheek. Once I had greeted everyone, we all headed for the limo, but then I remembered the Cullens. "Guys, I kind of forgot to tell you that the Cullens are coming to the party," I said. "What? Why?" they are said, obviously pissed that they were coming. "Because the kids want them here," I said. "Well, that asshole has no right to be here after he left my daughter pregnant," Charlie yelled. "I know, Charlie, but they are here and they are going to be riding in the limo with us," I said. "What, you're kidding, right?" Paul said. "No, I'm not kidding. Now please get in the limo or we are going to be late," I said. "Nope, no way, I would rather run," Paul said, being stubborn. I looked at Sam, hoping he would help me get in them in the limo. "Okay, everyone, stop being ridiculous and get in the limo. We are not going to be late to the triplets' birthday party just because you don't want to share a car with the Cullens. Now come on, you guys know if we are late it will ruin the Pixie's plan and she will bite our heads off when we get there," Sam said, and that thankfully worked and got everyone moving to the limo. "Fine, but I won't like it," Paul said, and Leah and the rest of the pack just nodded in agreement. The 45 minutes from the airport to the castle were probably the longest, awkwardest 45 minutes ever. Everyone was quiet, no one said a word to each other. I swear you could have heard a pin drop. Charlie and the pack were glaring at Edward, and if looks could kill he would already be 6 feet underground with worms eating his brain. The girls were trying to ignore what was going on and started texting each other while the Cullens were looking at the floor, at the ceiling, out the window, anywhere but at the people who wanted to burn them alive. The sad thing is that I have to deliver the Cullens all in one piece. If not, I'm sure the pack and I could have done some real damage to Edward Cullen's pretty face. When we finally got there, I was so glad because I would not have been able to take 5 more minutes with these people. It was finally time to relax and enjoy the party. Alice's paw. So far everything has gone according to plan, nothing has gone wrong. All the covens from around the world had all finished arriving 2 hours ago, and the triplets' friends had all finished arriving 30 minutes ago. Now all that was left was for my family and the pack to get here. When I saw the limo that was transporting my family and the pack arrive, I was relieved. They were cutting it close, way too close for my liking. The kids would be here in exactly 8 minutes and 23 seconds and everything has to be perfect. "Finally you're here. What took you so long?" I said, looking at Jane. "Don't blame me, blame them," Jane said, pointing at the pack. I automatically looked at Paul. "Why do you always look at me?" "What, there can't be a problem without it being my fault," Paul said. "Paul the first, no you," was all I had to say. "True. Well, did you really expect me to be forced to share a limo with the Cullen leeches and not complain?" "Come on, Alice, you know me better than that," he said while smiling. "That's her family you are talking about, you idiot," Rachel said while elbowing him in the gut. He finally realized what he said and said, "Sorry, Shorty. It's fine, I know you guys don't really like each other right now, but you want to know what, I don't really care because we are all here today to celebrate the triplets' birthday, so you better put on a smile on your face and not ruin this day for them," I said to all of them. "We know, Alice, we would never ruin the kid's birthday," Esme said. "I know you wouldn't do it purposely, but knowing how Emmett, Rosalie and the pack are, I had to warn you. Just know I have total access to the Volturi dungeon and I won't hesitate to put any of you in there if you mess this party up. Now come on, let's go. We only have 2 minutes and 14 seconds till the kids get here," I said while leading them to the garden. "Wow, Pixie, you really outdid yourself this year," Jared said. "You like it? I spent all night putting this together. I really hope they like it. You know that they are going to love it. I'm sure you have already seen how they react," Bella said, coming up to us and hugging everyone. "True. They just got here. They are going to be walking into the garden in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mason's paw. "Today has been a great day. We had all been woken up by Jacob and the rest of the guys. Like every year they took us out of the castle so that Alice could finish decorating for our birthday party. But unlike the past 3 years where we just walked around the city for hours waiting till it was finally time to go to the party, the guys had taken us to this amazing track where they had our 4-wheelers and motocross bikes. All of us love riding and competing. We all have national titles in motocross and I can't wait to try out this track. The track had been amazing but it was time to go and get ready for the party. The guys took us to a hotel where we could get ready. Alice had picked out our clothes so it didn't take long. Finally we were walking into the castle and we were going to the ballroom, but for some reason Alec told us that we had to go to the garden. We all followed and when we entered I saw that Alice had done our party outside this year. I saw all of our family and friends. Alice had really outdone herself this year. The entire warden was covered in snow, etc. Jason, Mason, Belle and I went over to hug and thank Alice first, then we saw that all of the Cullens were here including Edward. Bella's paw. I can't believe how beautiful this all looks, but what I really can't believe is that Edward and the rest of the Cullens really came, fully aware that none of the Volturi liked them and would love to start a bonfire with their heads. But I think them risking coming here was worth it to see the smile on my babies' faces when they saw them. Belle automatically ran to Edward. I can't believe that you're actually here. I didn't think you were actually going to come, she said to him while hugging him. I promised you that I would be here, didn't I? He said to her. Yeah, you did, she said while letting him go. I'm glad you came, Dad, Mason and Jason said together while going up to him and giving him a hug. While all of this was going on, the guests were confused because they had all heard that Belle had gotten engaged to Jacob, so when she came in and hugged Edward like that they did know what make of it, so when Mason and Jason called him Dad they were all shocked because no one besides the Volturi, the pack and Alice knew who the triplets' dad was. I guess the mystery is over. Out nowhere you hear Maggie, Jason. While running to him, he picked her up and kissed her. While this was totally normal for me and everyone else, it wasn't for the Cullens and their jaws dropped. It was really funny, I swear if their jaws could hit the floor they would have. I couldn't hold in anymore and I started to laugh along with the pack. What? Maggie asked, confused at the Cullens' expressions. Oh, did I forget to tell you that Jason was married? Alice said. What? He is 4. Alice, how the hell is he married? Rosalie said. Emmett, control your wife, she has no right to talk to Alice like that. I said. What, you guys really didn't notice my wedding ring? Jason said. No, we didn't. When did you get married and why? Rosalie said. Rosalie, calm down, you do not talk to my children like that. I said, trying to control my anger. She was pissed and everyone could see that she started passing, and just looking around she saw Maggie hugging Jason and then she saw that Lily was hugging Mason, and that's when she started yelling again. What are you married to? And she is human, what were you thinking? She screamed at Mason and Lily, which caused Lily to start crying. Since she was a half human half vampire she could cry. Seeing her cry broke my heart. She had done nothing wrong and didn't deserve this. Rosalie was just overreacting and I wouldn't stand for her mistreating my children and their mates. Jane, was all I had to say, and in less than 3 seconds Rosalie was on the floor screaming in pain. Lily and Maggie were crying and holding on to Mason and Jason. You could tell that Siobhan and Liam pissed and wanting to kill someone because Maggie was crying. Please stop, Bella, I'm begging you, tell Jane to stop hurting her. Esme said. Jane, I finally said. Rosalie, I don't know who you think you are, but listen and listen well, you have no say in my kid's life, nothing at all. You do not come into our home and start throwing a tantrum because you saw something you didn't like. All of us here fully support Mason, Jason, Belle and their mates. You have no say in who they love, and if you can't keep your opinions to yourself, leave, we don't need you here. I said to her, if you start something again, Rosalie, I will kick your ass and throw you into the dungeon, Alice said to her. Alice, you wouldn't do that, I'm your sister, Rosalie said to her. Of course I would, I had already warned you, told you this was a special day and I won't let you completely ruin it, and you should feel lucky that all that Bella did was tell Jane to cause you a little pain, because there is a lot of people here that would have ripped your head off of your body. Alice said. Wow, the guests were getting a show today. Bella's paw. Rosalie, if you can't respect my wife and my decisions, then I don't want or need you in my life. Jason said, then walked away with Maggie. You don't know us, Rosalie, so you have no right to judge us. Mason sadly said to Rosalie, then turned around and followed his brother out of the garden with a crying Lily still wrapped around him. You don't know how long I waited to meet you, how many nights I dreamed about meeting you, getting to know you, and now that I know you I wish I didn't. You are nothing but a disappointment. Aunt Alice used to tell me stories about how you loved your family, how you were so loyal that you would give up your life to protect your family, but all I see is a person who likes to cause my family pain, so do us all a favor and leave and don't come back. Belle told Rosalie, then walked out of the garden just like her brothers. After Belle's little speech everyone was just quiet, not knowing what to say. All I wanted to do was let Jane torture her some more, but by the expression on her face I could tell that she was already in pain, but that didn't stop Zach or Liam from defending their daughters. People say Jane is bad, but Zach, he is 100x worse than Jane, because Jane's gift is only mental but Zach's is physical. You see, Zach is a very powerful gifted vampire. He can turn all your blood or venom in your body into acid, making you burn from the inside out. It's kind of like Jane's power, but his power can kill you if he keeps it up for an extended period of time. If we were human we would die pretty fast, but since we are vampires it would take about 20 minutes till our body was too weak and couldn't keep healing itself, so it would start to burn us from the inside out, and it would only take a couple minutes after that for you to be a pile of ash. But it all really depends on how fast Zach wants you dead. I've seen him drag it out for hours, even days. His control is amazing. And right now he was pissed. He hated to see Lily cry, so I know Rosalie wasn't getting away with making her cry. You stupid bitch, if you ever upset my daughter like that again I will make sure you suffer for days before I kill you. As he said this he started to use his power at full force it seemed, and Rose was on the floor screaming out in pain. If he didn't stop she would soon be nothing but ash, but she brought this on herself. Rosalie, I like you, I have known you and your family for years, but if you ever hurt Maggie again I will torture you until you beg me to kill you. I don't need it to be gifted like Zach to be able to protect my family. Liam told Rosalie, and then both Zach and Liam left the gardens with their mates following their children. Slowly everyone else started to leave, not knowing what else to do in this very awkward situation. The only ones left were the Cullens, Arrow, Marcus, Keyes, Felix, Dimitri and myself. None of us expected any of this to happen. We have never had any kind of problem, and you would think we would with a room full of werewolves and vampires, but we always have such a good time at the kids' parties. It's one of the few days a year when everything is good, happy, positive. Any problems that may arise are always dealt with the day after. No official Volturi business ever happened on this day. Who would have thought that the Cullens were the ones who were going to ruin this day? Arrow was the one who broke the silence. Well, old friend, it seems your family has ruined the day, and they sure chose the worst day to do it. I apologize for Rosalie's behavior, but you have to understand this has all caught us by surprise. We have only known about the triplets' existence for a couple weeks, and we have only really interacted with them for a couple days, and even then it has been nearly impossible to get them to actually talk to any of us. They are still strangers to us even if they are part of our family. Carlisle told Arrow, as if that justified Rose's actions. If you think what your daughter did was justified just because you didn't know them for long, you are delusional. She had no right to disrespect and embarrass Jason Mason and their mates like that in their own home, and to make it worse she did it at their own birthday party in front of all their friends. It isn't acceptable and there will be consequences, Keyes told Carlisle, and you could tell by the look of shock on their faces that they weren't expecting Rosalie to have to be punished for the scene she had created. Arrow, Rosalie has already been tortured by Jane and whoever that man was. Don't you think that is punishment enough? She was just shocked by the knowledge of Jason's marriage and she reacted without thinking. Carlisle pleaded with Arrow, but it was Marcus who answered. I'm afraid that nothing can be done to help your daughter. She has disrespected the princes of the Volturi publicly and in front of covens from all over the world, and she must be punished for her crime. We can't have people thinking that it's okay to come into our home and do what she has done. When he finished talking, everyone once again went quiet as they all realized that Rosalie was in big trouble. All that could be heard were Rosalie's sobs as she clings to Emmett. Please, Arrow, there must be something that we can do to make this all go away. We didn't know the triplets were royals. This is just a big misunderstanding. Carlisle kept pleading with Arrow, trying to save his daughter's life, but when he saw he was getting nowhere he turned to me with pleading eyes. I'm sorry, Carlisle, your family was warned and Rosalie sadly didn't heed the warning. There isn't anything I can do to help you, I sadly told him and the rest of Cullens. The only thing I can do is make sure that she has a fair trial. I told them. The trial will be tomorrow at noon, Marcus said. Till then, Rosalie, Lily and Cullen, you are going to be taken to the dungeons where you will wait till it's time for your trial tomorrow. Keyes said, leaving no room for argument, then motioned for Felix and Dimitri to come and take her. Please don't take her, Esme pleaded with them, but they just kept looking straight ahead as they passed her and went to get Rosalie where she stood hugging Emmett. I could tell letting go of Rosalie and not attacking Felix and Dimitri was one of the hardest things that Emmett had ever had to do, but if he wanted Rosalie to have a chance at getting out of here alive he knew he had to cooperate. All the Cullens could do was quietly watch as they took Rosalie out of the garden and back into the castle. Now that that has been dealt with, let's go enjoy the rest of the triplets' birthday party, Eros said. The Cullens were looking at him like he was crazy for thinking that they could enjoy the rest of the day while Rosalie was locked up. If you don't want to join us in the ballroom for the party, I can always have someone show you to your rooms, I told them, but they just stayed quiet not knowing what to do, so I just followed everyone to the ballroom. The DJ had all his equipment set up. The room was dark with only the DJ's flashing lights going, and the music was loud enough to cause someone to go deaf. It looked more like a club than the ballroom. Everyone seemed to be having a good time. There was also a huge bar set up for everyone to enjoy, and everyone was already a little drunk, even the vampires, because strangely enough alcohol was the one thing apart from blood that our bodies could consume, but it just took a lot more alcohol for us to be able to get us drunk. The triplets, along with their mates, Jane, Heidi, Chelsea, Afton, Santiago, Benjamin, Tia, etc., were already drunk and on the dance floor having the time of their lives. You guys started the party without us, Dimitri said, coming into the room followed by Felix. What are you talking about? You know the party doesn't start until we arrive, Felix said. Then they all started laughing and went to get another drink. What is all this? How can they all be drinking? Emmett asked. This was plan B in case the weather ruined the party outside, and alcohol is the one other thing vampires can consume, Alice explained. And, speaking of drinks, it looks like you need one, Uncle Emmett, Jason said, coming over and handing Emmett a tequila shot. When Jason saw him hesitating whether he should drink it, he just laughed. Come on, Uncle Emmett, it doesn't bite and it's not like I'm going to poison you. If you want, we can drink the shot at the same time. Then he counted down from 3 and they both downed the shot, and while Jason was used to the burning in his throat and was fine, Emmett wasn't used to it and started coughing, which just made Jason laugh more. You have a lot to learn, my friend, Jason told him when Alice brought over some colorful neon test tube shots over. Jason automatically took 2 and handed one to Emmett, but this time he didn't hesitate and just drank it without even thinking about it. He didn't start coughing this time, which was probably because it wasn't as strong as the shot Jason gave him. Jason looked proud when he saw that, but he knew how sad his uncle was because of what was happening, so he didn't say anything and took a sad-looking Emmett over to the bar. I could already tell his plan was to get Emmett drunk enough that he forgot what was going on with Rosalie, at least for a while. The rest of the Cullens just were looking awkward and out of place, well, except Jasper, who was talking to Alice and trying one of the neon shots. Do you want to go back to your room? I can get someone to take you if you want, I told Carlisle and Esme, and they agreed, so I had Janet take them to one of the guest rooms in my wing of the castle. Once they left, Mason came over with a tequila shot just like Jason had and handed it to Jasper. Wouldn't want you to feel left out, Uncle Jasper, he said. Then they both downed the shot, and just like before, Jasper started coughing loudly while Mason was fine and laughing at Jasper. It seems that you're the only one that hasn't drank a shot, Dad, so here, drink up, Belle said, coming up to Edward and I and handing him another strong tequila shot, but unlike Emmett and Jasper, he drank it like it was water, which caused both Belle and I to stare at him. What? It's not the first time I drink. If I must remind you, I did have my decade of rebellion back when I was first turned, and I must say the alcohol has gotten much stronger since then, he said, while Belle and I were still in shock. After a couple of hours, Alice gathered us all around so that the kids and I so that we could cut the huge birthday cake, and she of course had to take pictures, so our cake cutting took longer than normal, but it was worth it because she took some amazing pictures, including our first family picture. The rest of the night was fun. We all laughed, had one too many drinks, and danced all night long. Emmett's paw. My head is pounding from all the alcohol that I had drunk yesterday. I think I overdid it a little bit. I didn't know a vampire could drink, but drinking did help me forget how Rose was locked up in a cold, dirty dungeon instead of having fun with the rest of the family. Right now my family and I were in the throne room waiting for them to bring in Rose so that her trail can begin. Rosalie is the love of my life. She is my soulmate and I love her with all of my being, but sometimes she overreacts and goes a little crazy on people, and her attitude isn't always the best, so I'm not really surprised that she got in trouble. I knew coming here wasn't a good idea because of all the mixed feelings Rosalie has towards the triplets and Bella. She really does love the triplets and considers them family, but since they are technically 3, she still wants them to act like little kids, and she just can't accept that they are grown adults that have a life of their own. Rosalie has always wanted children, and when she found out that Edward and Bella were able to conceive not only 1 child but 3, she didn't take it well, and it didn't help that the triplets didn't like her or most of our family. When Jason started to warm up to me, I could tell that she didn't like that he was accepting me and not her. It seemed the closer I got to the triplets, the more distant she became with me. I know Rose may seem like a cold, heartless bitch most of the time, but she isn't always like that with me. She is one of the sweetest, most loving, caring person that I know, and I don't know why she doesn't let other people besides me see that. The rest of the family gets to see glimpses of that side of Rosalie, but it never lasts. Once she realizes it, she automatically puts her walls back up. I know her behavior and attitude has a lot to do with the things she went through when she was human, but she doesn't like to talk about it, and I don't like hurting her by asking her about it. I know what she did yesterday wasn't right, that she crossed a line, but I don't want her to die because of it. I don't know what I would do without her in my life. I have the rest of my family, but Rosalie is my mate, and a life without her isn't a life I want to live, so if she is sentenced to death I will ask them to kill me as well. Bella's Pav. Today was going to be a very long day. Rosalie's trail was today, and a lot of the covens had chosen to stay after the party just to witness the trail, so we had at least 50 people plus some of the higher level guard in attendance today. Let's not forget how the rest of the Cullens were at the very front with a very sad and distraught looking Emmett, and seeing happy fun loving Emmett sad is just wrong. I don't like to see him like that, and I feel really bad that there is a 50-50 chance that his wife will be killed within the hour. I know that the kids may not be on great terms with her, I'm not even on good terms with her, but just like me they don't want to see her get killed. We know how much pain that would bring to Emmett and the rest of our family, and none of us want to be responsible for causing our family that kind of pain. Since the kids and I are royals, we do have a say in what happens today, but Arrow is the one who ultimately makes the decision. I know that Carlisle's is hoping for the best possible outcome, especially after his talk with Arrow, but things here are never set in stone and decisions made beforehand are not always what we end up going with, so I hope he doesn't get his hopes up because there is a very good chance that Rosalie will die. I would be lying if I said I wasn't nervous about how this was going to affect the new relationship that the kids and I were forming with the Cullens, but this is our job, and we may not like having control over one of our family members' lives, but we have a duty to the Volturi. Rosalie put herself in this situation, and we will all do our part in making sure she gets a fair trial, but at the same time pays for her actions. Rosalie's Pav. Today was the day. I've been cooped up in the guards' barracks without any contact with Emmett or my family. I am so frustrated as I still don't understand what I did that was so wrong, and I don't understand why it is punishable by death. Seems silly to me. At least, they sent me some clothes and allowed me to bathe. They'll be here to escort me to my fate in a few minutes. I know I have to keep my mouth shut or die, but all I really want to do is tell them to all to go to hell. There's a knock at the door and Jane, Alec and Dimitri are here. All Jane says to me is, "It's time." In cold voice she motions for me to step out of the cell, and then the three of them escort me to the throne room. I know that they would all love to see me beg for my life, but if it comes down to that I will die in silence so that I don't give Jane or anyone else the satisfaction of seeing me beg. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die with my dignity. Jane's Pav. Damn it to the gods, because we got stuck dealing with this stupid bitch. All I want to see is her squirming on the floor in pain. I am sure Alec and Dimitri feel the same way. Stupid uniformed careless Cullens. I knock and open the door, not waiting for her to answer. It's time, I say, and we're off to the throne room. When we arrive, we escort Rosalie to the center of the throne room and retire to our assigned places, then we wait for the show to begin. I really hope she dies, or that I at least get to torture her. Arrow's Pav. I can tell this isn't going to be easy. There are a lot of people here who want Rosalie dead for what she did, others who want her to get a second chance, and there are some who didn't pick a side and are just here to see how we deal with her, to see if we give her special treatment because she is related to the triplets, and this is a unique situation, so I'm not surprised at the size of our audience. Once Jane brings Rosalie in and everyone quiets down, I rise from my throne and greet Rosalie with a, "Good morning, Rosalie." She nods her head and says, "Nothing, stupid, ignorant girl. We're going to remedy that issue very soon." The first thing I do is move forward and take her hand to read her memories. I'm furious. She doesn't have a clue regard our laws and doesn't believe she has done anything wrong. I return to my throne after taking my brother's hands, and they take the triplets and Bella's so that I can show them what I've seen. Keys roars as expected. Marcus is mad but doesn't let it show, and the triplets and Bella just seem very sad and disappointed. It seemed they expected more from her. It's a good thing we had all gotten together beforehand and had a plan in place for her punishment, or she would be dead and gone in this minute. Carlisle's Pav. We were all very nervous as we waited for the trial to begin. I never imagined my family was ever going to be in this predicament. I had talked to Arrow before the trial, but I still don't know what has been decided, but I trusted that Bella wouldn't let Rosalie die. I know they weren't the best of friends, but she and the triplets cared enough about Emmett to not hurt him like that. When Arrow went up to Rosalie and read her mind, I could see that he was getting angrier by the second, and that's when I think we all started to really fear for her life. I looked over at Edward for some kind of reassurance that everything was going to be okay, but he wouldn't look me in the eye, and Alice was just looking forward, expressionless. You could tell she was still mad at Rosalie for what happened yesterday. When Arrow walked back to his throne and took Keys and Marcus' hands, and then they took the triplets and Bella's, you could see the different emotions playing on their faces as they saw what Arrow had seen. Keys was beyond angry, and like always Marcus kept a poker face, but you could see the sadness and disappointment on Bella and the triplets' faces, and seeing this made me fear for the worst. I could almost guarantee that the next words that were going to come out of Arrow's mouth were going to rip May family apart. After all the Volturi royals had calmed down and were seated again, Arrow began to explain the Rosalie's punishment. Rosalie Hale McCarty Cullen, you're charged with high treason against the Volturi royal family for the insults and grief you have caused 4 members of the royal household and their spouses and family. In addition, you caused grave pain to the royal family and their spouses by your actions, as well as a complete disruption of the triplets' birthday party. You have been spared until trial as a consideration to your sire, for which we hold great respect. In addition, we have heard his petition that we spared your life because of your ignorance to the laws of our world. Your sire, Carlisle Cullen, has accepted for himself and his coven 100 years of service to the Volturi for his failure to teach his coven Volturi law. Because of his request and compliance, you are not sentenced to immediate death. Your sentence, however, is not a moderate one. Do you willing accept our decision as to your fate and give us your compliance and loyalty to accept and complete all phases of this punishment? Rosalie's soft reply is, I do so swear. She knows she has no choice but is still resentful of her punishment. This is going to be a painful journey for all of us. Because you have agreed to accept our decision, we sentence you to complete each task we the Volturi royals have agreed to impose. You must complete all tasks willingly and with an attitude that convinces us of your willingness to accept and comply with everything assigned. Your sentence includes 1. Completion of General Guard training to learn obedience and humility. You must graduate with honors. Term to complete is 2 years. 2. You are further required to serve as maid and chef to the Swan triplets and their mother, Isabella. You will clean as they direct and prepare 3 meals and snacks as requested, and do all kitchen cleaning after meals. You must complete this task without complaint and with humility and gratitude. Term for this task is 10 years. 3. You will work in the Volturi blood bank as directed for the length of your term with the Volturi. 4. You will attend Volturi charm school to learn appropriate etiquette and appropriate behavior of a female vampire. Again, you must complete this task with honors. Course term is 2 years. 5. Completion of all courses offered in Volturi law. At the end of successful completion of this punishment, you will receive a law degree. This punishment's purpose is to teach you acceptable behavior in the vampire and human world and improve your sense of accomplishment and self-esteem. Term is 5 years. 6. To teach you compassion, you will serve 10 years at the Volturi orphanage caring for various children and teaching children of all ages how to succeed in the real world. Your term is 10 years and you may continue working at the orphanage for a longer period if you so desire. It is hoped this punishment will teach you to be less judgmental of situations for which you have no knowledge of the circumstances. In addition, you will work with the other Volturi charitable activities as assigned by the 3 kings and the rest of the royal family. 7. Further, you will not be allowed to shop for yourself or dress in the style you are accustomed until all punishments are completed to our satisfaction. 8. You will be assigned quarters and are allowed share these quarters with your mate and to spend your time off with him if he so desires. You will adhere to all mating rules required for a female vampire. You will also be allowed to visit with your coven 1 hour per week. 9. You have been assigned a mentor, King Marcus Volturi, and you will meet with him weekly for a progress evaluation. You may also request time with him if there is something you do not understand, are having difficulty with completing, or to talk over your feelings. These meetings are at his discretion and not at yours. Any disciplinary will be administered by him. 10. King Marcus will compete progress reports monthly. These will be reviewed by all of the royal family, and any disciplinary actions or praise will be administered in the throne room with the entire guard present. 11. You must be respectful to everyone at all times. A sarcastic mouth will not be tolerated. 12. You will serve your punishment and serve the Volturi for a total of 50 years. After that you will need to serve in the guard like the rest of your family for the last 50 years of your covenant's punishment. Do you willing accept the terms and conditions of all punishments? Non-acceptance will result in immediate and final death. Rosalie is completely overwhelmed but replies, I willingly accept my punishments. Rosalie, I believe that once you successfully complete your many tasks, you will be a better person and hopefully a happier one. You're dismissed to your new quarters. Emmett, you may accompany her if you wish. Jane, Alec and Dimitri will accompany you, give you instructions for today, and you will begin your punishment tomorrow. If you need guidance, please consult King Marcus. Arrow instructs. With that, Rosalie, Emmett and their escort leave the throne room. Then everyone else starts to leave as well. I'm so happy that Rosalie isn't dead and my family isn't going to be broken that I don't notice the shock and anger on my family's faces after hearing that we had to serve the Volturi for a century. The end. Thanks for watching.